Oh, hello, hello, hello. Sorry to start things off with a Discord ping on my end. um, but we are back with day 2 of the ClickClack 2v2 tournament. Um, as you can see, we still have a little bit of time before the match actually starts. Um, Discord, please, why y'all pinging me? Unfortunately, I have to leave my Discord pings on today because yesterday, frankly, I was very bad about checking my channel that I set up for pause requests. And luckily nobody had to use it, but today some people might need to use it. So I would like to actually be able to pay attention to that when it needs to be paid attention to. Apologies for any Discord pings. I imagine we'll probably have a few right now, but they'll slow down in a minute. While we're waiting for the match to start, let me swap to this screen. And you can see, first off, how yesterday went. So we had, we had we had 7 teams. Already starting off the day being very good at counting. We had 7 teams all starting, and now we finished with 2 little dragons winning the winners finals. So they are going to be moving on to the grand finals against whoever wins in the losers round for today. I am excited to see some of these matches. I know yesterday we didn't really get a chance to see Nano's next game or either of the Sun Station games. So I'm really excited to see that one next. But right now we have Bevo Like the Bugs and Mongon Bringers. Now, something to note is that the Mongon Bringers did need a sub today. One of the players is unable to come, and so there is a little bit of a punishment for not being able to make it. Instead of starting at 40,000 each, they are going to start 2,000 under each, and Bevel is going to start with 2,000 above each. So plus 4,000 for Bevel, minus 4,000 for Mongon Bringers. It's a small punishment that can easily be overcome, especially with the wareme rule. But we did also see a lot of very, very, very tight games yesterday. So I'm interested to see how that punishment is going to affect Mongon Bringers going forward through the rest of the day. It also sounds like Rat Girl at some point may be having to step out at some point throughout the day. So I may need to find a sub there and do the same there. But of course we need to see, first off, if they pass the first round here in the losers bracket. First, I should go ahead and edit these scores to match what they're gonna be starting with. So they're gonna have 76, and Bevel Like the Bugs are gonna have 84. It looks like the match has started. I mean, technically it started 5 minutes ago, but we got the 5-minute delay. We can already see Rat Girl here with the wareme marker. Take a closer look at that hand in a second. Beanie won. Ooh, okay. Starting Ishanten and being able to get a closed con as well on the 1 pin. This can be a very nice hand if, like, he can just manage to, like, even if it's Riichi only, he now has a higher chance of hitting Eridor as well. Actually, you know what? Hang on. I just realized I don't have my stream chat up. Let's pull that up. There we go. Hi, stream chat. Sorry about the audio on the game for a second there. And we are going to see an early Riichi, it looks like, from Beanie. The one problem with Riichi in the 2v2 format is, of course, your teammate could just drop the tile you need. And here, of course, Beanie is the dealer. So if he wins, there wouldn't actually be a change in their points, but he would at least be able to retain his dealership. He could choose to win off his teammate. but he might not want to. He may choose to go into Furry 10 if the teammate dropped the tile, but instead Rat Girl's gonna drop it. Oh, that's real rough. Because she had the wareme. Yeah, already getting over that starting deficit. So let's see. That is 97. Was that the right team? No. Shit, that was wrong team. So that would be 89, 600. And then... Why am I so bad at math right now? I hate this. I should pay attention to the hands first before worrying about the score. Goddamn, Beanie. What the fuck is this hand? You're starting Ishan 10 with Pinfu already. Okay. Okay, Beanie. And you have the wareme? I should also be showing other hands as well. Okay, yeah, no. You definitely reach Pinfu. Nice three-sided weight. You kind of, again, hope that your teammate doesn't deal in, but if they do... Rat Girl's gonna deal right in again. Okay, hang on. And even though he didn't hit the wareme player, he was the wareme player. So again, that's double value right at the start. This is an insane start. I'm going to message somebody that's playing in the next set and say like, hey, you might want to get ready soon. I feel like that might be a little bit disrespectful to Beevil like the Bugs because like, I really do want to believe in them. It is also just very hard playing in Rat Girl's position right now. She is definitely going to be targeted by the other two. I'll fix the scoring in just a second. Let me reach out to somebody who I am a little unsure of if he's going to manage to get here or not. So... Okay. So let's actually go fix the scores. I did not mean to switch that. There we go. Well, actually, first, let's look at these hands. Sorry, the scores are going to be wrong for just a second. Don't worry about it. Starting with 2 Dora, that's... Or, okay, just do it that way as well. That makes sense, now that you've picked up that 9. This could be a 789 Sanshoku. We could very easily see that. Now we have Zoe over here who, you got some pretty good shapes in there. I like this 789, floating 6, nice 5-6 shape here, your pair, your Easts you're almost certainly going to want to call on, and then you got another group here. Your hand is definitely moving forward very well. Apia looks like Rat Girl here is looking like, she's going to be pushing for a flush. I'm sure that this East is probably going to come out at some point, and Zoe, yep. Not from Rat Girl, but it does come out, and Zoe does take it. And back here, ooh. So you have the 6-7, the 3-5 is all right. You have a pair of 9s, the 6-7, 8. I'm sorry about the Discord things, y'all. This could end up being a straight. I think for just a couple minutes, I'm gonna go on Do Not Disturb so that way we don't get pings on stream. Let me go ahead fix the hands real quick, or hey, fix the scores real quick. So we have, that is gonna be 100, 5, 100, plus 8. So that's 113, 100. And then we have, that would be 46,900 over here. Crackly audio. Why? Why crackly audio? Stop that. Stop crackly audioing. Are we going to see a Riichi here? No, we don't. We see a Dama. It's not going to have a Yaku right now, but he could draw the tile himself. Of course, there are 14 tiles left. 2 7s are already discarded, so still 2 in the wall. One's probably in the dead wall, and one might be in the live wall. Alright, I am going back online so I can listen to pause requests. And he does actually end up finding the 7. Okay, that's going to take even more from Apia. It's not a big hand. That doesn't kill Apia, but that is going to, again, leave her very, 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 very low. This start is incredible for Mongon Bringers. I don't know whether Zoe here would be happy that she's just being brought along for the ride, or if she is disappointed in not being able to do much herself right now. Looking at the hands though, we have Beanie's hand. This one's actually looking pretty slow. This one might not hit Tenpai before other players. We'll have to see, because there's not too much that can happen here. He could maybe draw like a white dragon or an east and get a triplet in that. He could maybe push for a Honitsu, the half flush, but I doubt that. This is probably just, you know, not a hand that's really going to be doing too much. Meanwhile, for Zoe, who has the Wareme mark, Zoe's hand is looking a little bit better. The 8-9's not great. The 5-7 can easily be built off of. The Mon tiles, you have a lot to be able to work around. Rat Girl looks like she is going for all simples. She's going to need to find a 4-pin and hope not to draw a 1-pin, but she's a little bit far away from Tenpai right now to really worry much about like a possible furry 10. And over here on Beck's side, we're seeing a good bit of shiny tiles. 2 red 5s and a 7. That could get some value for him. Not much else going on there. He's not in the east seat. Apia does end up in Tenpai, but she does not have a... Well, she's in Furry 10. That's the word I was looking for. She's in Furry 10 because she has already dropped the 1-pin. She's going to need to pick up the 4-pin herself. Or she could maybe get out of Furry 10 if she finds like a 5-pin. Or if she like gets an 8-mon as well. Call a triplet on that. Look for a pair in this 2-3 group instead of trying to go for a sequence in that. Whew. Okay, let's fix stores. So that is going to be 43,500 over here. Which means that the other has 16,500. 116,500, yeah. It looks like Beanie's hand is shaping up a little bit more. If he can find like a 5-pin here, that would be Tenpai, and that would be a nice wait on this 2-5. Alternatively, he picks up a 2 and waits strictly on the 5. Might also get something around the 3, end up dropping the 6. He still has some options. Zoe, of course, hitting Tenpai, waiting on 3 and 6 Mon. Is this Pinfu? It's, let's see. That is Pinfu Ipeko. And Adora as well. Which, again, with Wareme, this could end up being the end of the game. We'll see. Ooh. Beck drew the winning tile, but of course it fits his hand perfectly, so he was not doing it. Ooh, 3 Riichis on the table now. 2 of them waiting on the 3, so. Okay, that's gonna deal into Beck. Oh. Bevo, like the bugs, is gonna earn some points here. I'm sure they're a little bit disappointed that it wasn't Apia getting the points, but at the same time, just getting some, being able to put up a bit more of a fight here, I'm sure they're very, very, very happy about that. It looks like Beanie might have a Chanta going on, possibly. But let's focus on the dealer. Zoe here, I'm not really sure how to feel about some of these groups. I like this 4-5. The 6-8, you know, it's not bad. I don't really like the pairs of 9s, pairs of 3s, and the triplet slash pair sequence thing going on with this 7-7-7-9. Being able to convert these into strictly a triplet, that's going to work out very well, and now she's just going to need either to complete one of these pairs or find a 7, so we'll see what happens with that hand. Rat Girl over here with the wareme mark. We could, oh no, I was gonna say we could be seeing a 7 pairs, but it looks like we might instead be seeing all triplets. Well, no, she might really just be going for White Dragon. We'll see. All triplets, it is on the table. And trying to get that extra value with the wareme mark, it would be a little bit greedy, but I think in her position, she needs to be a little bit greedy. Oh, and that's a huge pickup if she wants to try to go for it. That could even make it Honitsu as well. This hand could end up being huge. Oh, but she drops the north, getting rid of some of the value there. She's going for the faster hand. That's, I mean, again, that's honestly fair, trying to just, like, keep yourself alive, just get some points as a little bit of a buffer, rather than worrying about some major hand for a big comeback right this second. So I don't entirely disagree with this decision. It is tough to say what to have done over there. Now Beck, let's take a look at his hand. We're seeing 5, 6, 7. This 1 and 2 is, it's all right. You know what? Actually, this could be a Sanshoku. The 1 and 2, the 1, 2, 3, the 2 and 3 Mon. It could be a Sanshoku Dora. Choosing not to keep the 7, that would work well with the 9 pin. Zoe over here is going for all simples, not all triplets. Calling the open con even and drawing the new Dora. Beanie going for what looks like a full flush, the Chinitsu. Oh, and Apia drawing that. She's probably dropping the 3 pin and going for the double pairweight? Yeah. She could have also dropped the 2 and gone for the 1 and 3. Just had the like, guaranteed cheaper hand, but, like, it's probably more likely for others to deal into. Going for some value here, trying to get the extra Han from the Green Dragon, just to double the value of the hand. I think going for the double pairweight is very nice here. We're going to see who gets it first between these two, or if somebody else is going to sneak their way into Tenpai. Unfortunately for Beanie, both of his tiles that don't fit the Chinitsu. Ooh, we're probably seeing a deal in here, actually. Both of his tiles that don't fit the Chinitsu go to one of his opponents or go to one of the other people, not necessarily opponents. And it does go to Apia, the one he would be most worried about. Again, it is a very small win, but it does give Apia more of a buffer to work with. It keeps her alive. So now they have 56 plus 1,000, so 57,000 for them. I didn't get the scores last round, so they were a little bit off. And that means that the other group has 103,000. Assuming my math is right and that I'm looking at the right people. I should be. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, Apia could be going for a pure or a full flush here. I don't know why I keep thinking to say pure straight. Because that is not what it is. That is a very different hand. But this could be very valuable. It would be a nice. Oh, my brain is so fried already. This is bad. This is bad that I'm starting with the brain this fried this early in the day. But you know what? We'll work with it. We'll see how bad it gets later. Getting the early Hanemon here as a possibility would be huge. Especially, again, if she could hit off Beanie, the wareme player. What does Beck have? Beck seems to be going for all simples. And again, pair of Dora and a red 5. He's looking very, very solid over here. Like, the hand, he's not in Tenpai. He's not, like, super close to Tenpai either. He does need a little bit of work with his hand, but when he gets there, he's going to have value. Now, Beanie, we have a 1, 2, 3, and a 3, 4. I think those threes are pretty well locked away in his hand. I don't think they're going to come out for Rat Girl here. We have a 3, 4 here. That's fantastic. And a 6, 7, 8. He is Ishanten. If he draws a 2 or a 5 pin or a 2 or a 5 mon, he's going to drop this 8, have Pinfu set up, and just be loving life. And then Zoe, we could be looking at another possible flush, and I think we are. She dropped 3 so early. She's dropping the 8 pin now. I think she's looking at this hand for value and trying to get that flush. I think that hand is going to be the slowest one here. I don't think it's going to work out, but we can see if it does. I'm interested to see who is going to draw a 3 pin if it ever comes up, because of course Zoe could use it. Beanie would just drop it. Beck would just drop it and it wouldn't much matter. Like, I think that Apia would probably choose to wait and try to hit an opponent if Beck drops it. Oh, Beck does drop it. Is she gonna let it pass? Yes. So she, oh, Beanie taking advantage of temporary Furry 10. Does not get to deal into Apia. So now she's really gonna just need the last 3 because this one in Beanie's hand is very well taken care of. I'm actually surprised to have seen that one come out. But he was probably getting worried and thought just like, it just passed, I'm gonna play it safe now. Like, he's in the lead. He doesn't want to deal in. He has wareme. It makes sense to go for it this way. Now, we might see this change to a double pair. No, we don't. She might be afraid of the 4-pin weight, which no one really has, but she doesn't know that. That said, I guess she'd be just about as afraid of a 5-pin weight too, so I'm not really entirely sure. I'm not really entirely sure whether that was one for safety, whether that was one to try to be able to win on the 6. She does hit it off the wareme player. Beanie thought the 3-pin was safe because she didn't win it off of her teammate, and now he's gonna pay the price. He's gonna get this Hanemon, this dealer Hanemon, with the wareme mark. 36,000 points. That massive lead entirely stripped away. This game is just like bonkers right now. And hang on, we're seeing a lot of terminals and honors over here in Zoe's hand. I'm interested to see what they do with that. I gotta fix scores real quick first. So we have 93,000 now for these two. 93,000, which means that we have 67,000 over here. Oh, I'm gonna message Nano and say that it might have been a false alarm. first I should mention, hang on, because I wasn't actually paying attention to the hands. I should mention this 3 Dora in Apia's hand. What the hell is this? This is one hell of a way to come back. Oh, Nano, you're in chat. Cool, I don't have to message you. Yeah, wareme went both ways. So Beanie got a massive, massive, massive start, hitting Apia twice with wareme, knocking her very, very low. And now Apia came back with a massive, effectively 36,000 point hand because of the wareme mark. So she is still very well alive. And I guess I did not necessarily need to call you away from the gym. Oh, we are going to see a Riichi here waiting on the 2 and 5 mon with 3 Dora. Let's take a look at the other players' hands. It looks like Beck is going to be going for... Ooh, Beck was maybe going for 7 pairs. I didn't really get much of a chance to take a look at these other hands because now we're seeing the deal in. She does also hit an Uradora, making this another Hanemon. I don't know why I'm hitting okay, like as if that's really going to speed things up, because that's kind of just like, well, never mind, maybe it does. I thought that was all dependent on the players hitting that. Oh. This game, like, this upset's incredible, and now AP, of course, has the wareme mark as well. As dealer, that's both very powerful and very scary. Her hand looks pretty nice. If she can find a 7-pin, then this is Pinfu, possibly a pure straight. She could find a 2-pin as well and make it that. Beck's hand here, we have a... Ooh, okay, so we have a 1, 2, 3, a spare 2 going... Well, and maybe not spare, it's kind of going with this 4 a little bit. And then we have this 4, 5, which is very nice. 3, 4, 5, 6 is a very versatile shape, because you can build off of either side of it. And this kind of bad floating 8 and a west. Those are just kind of going to be the garbage tiles here. Beanie, let's take a look here, is going to have the white dragon, a 4, 5, 6 with the Dora. And this 2, 3, 3, 3 group is very nice, especially because it lets him have a pair after he calls the triplet on the whites. Assuming he calls, which he might not. I imagine he will, and I think if he does, he might be trying to push this hand as a half flush, trying to get some value back, especially if he can hope to maybe hit off Apia here. And then Zoe, it looks like we have a Chanta going on here, waiting on a 3-pin. It's not going to be the most valuable hand because it is Chanta Nomi, but I mean, that is a hand in its own, like that's perfectly fine. The Forso comes out for Apia. Let's see what she drops here. I would imagine probably the 4-mon, yeah. Again, if she can find the 7-pin, then this is Pinfu set up, waiting on the 3 and the 6. Or alternatively, if she can find something else around like this 3, 4, 5 shape to build off of, she could end up going Pinfu that way. She could also just end up picking up the 3 and 6-mon, waiting on the 7-pin. But it doesn't matter. It looks like Zoe is picking up the 3-pin. Just choosing to go with the fast, cheap hand and knocking Apia out of the dealer role. Taking a couple extra points from her. It's not a big hand, so it's not going to take much, but it is definitely something. So now they are at 109,100 over here. 109,100. And over here, we have 50,900. Is that correct? That looks correct, yes. Okay. Let's focus on Beck. Not a bad start. It's a perfectly fine start. I think it's a pretty good one, but it's not like amazing. You have this Dora 3 working perfectly well with this 4. That's a fantastic group. That's also now a very nice group because you could get a triplet of either the 9-so or the 8-mon. The 1, 2, 3, of course, is fantastic. A 6, 8 is, it's alright. You might be able to find a 5-pin around there. The 2 can go with that. Drop the 3-pin. Makes sense. Beanie here is in Tenpai. I was just about to look at his hand, and he managed to hit Tenpai just before he was able to. He's going for a double pair weight on this 1 and 7. Gets the Ipatsu. Oh, and that's again off the wareme player. We are seeing so many wareme wins this game. What the hell is going on? Like, they're still behind, but not by much. If they can take a little bit off of, like, preferably Beck, especially now that he has the wareme mark, like, they're in good shape. I also say especially Beck, but then I realized, like, that doesn't matter just because he has more points. Like, because the teams share them, it doesn't much matter whether winning off him or Apia. Besides, of course, the fact that right now he has the wareme. So that is going to be 93,100 now. Over here. 93,100. Which means 66,900. Okay. Beanie's hand is looking alright. This could be all triplets, this could be 7 pairs, this could be Riichi Nomi. There's a few ways that this can go, and none of them are, like, especially great. I do know that he is very avidly against Chitoi, so I don't think we'll be seeing that. Well, actually, I know we won't be seeing that now that he's dropped the 1 Mon. That's very, very unlikely to happen at this point. Zoe here, we have a 2-3-4-5, fantastic shape. A 3-4 here, a 2-3 here. Honestly, we could see a 2-3-4 Sanshoku. Actually, this is, of course, a 1-2-3, so she would need to find a 4-so next to this and swap out the 1 in order for that to actually happen. So, not likely, but it is possible. She's also Ishanten, so if she can manage to either find a pair in this 2-5, or if she can manage to pick up a 6 or 9-so, then she can easily get Pingfu. Hi Alice! Hope you're doing well. Now, Rat Girl across from Beanie here. The hand... It doesn't look like it's progressing too much. Not as well as, like, Zoe's hand. She still has this 1 pin, which is, like, not great. She might be holding onto it for safety, actually. But we have the 789, the spare 7 that kind of works with this 5, but the 5 also might be working with these 4s. Tough to say right now. This 1 and 3 is it's alright. Not too much you can really do with that except hope for the 2. And this 5-6. So even if she picked up a 4, that would just be going with the 5-6, I'm sure, and leaving her with this awkward 2-8. Beck's hand. Beck is the wareme player again, so let's take a look here. 1, 2, 3, that's fantastic. 5 Pandora, a 5 or 2 red 5s, I should say. Looks like, is that Ishanten? That is Ishanten, yeah. If he can manage to, like, find a 3 or 6-so or a 4, 5-so or a 5 pin, any of those bring him to Tenpai. But speaking of Tenpai, of course, we have a Riichi now from Zoe with 17 tiles left, waiting on 2-5 pin. Most of the 2 pins are held up in our teammate's hand, and he does not know this, most likely. I think the 5 pins as well are pretty well squared away. I don't know. There is a small chance of Apia maybe going for, like, Ipeko here and using... Nope. Okay, so because of that, I think this 5 pin is just staying pretty well in her hand. That's the most likely one to come out. We have these 5s here. I don't see those coming out at all, especially now. And then we have this 5 pin as well. It's Beanie is most likely going to be holding on to it. I think that Zoe is just, I was going to say just waiting on the last 2 pin, but that's also squared away in Beck's hand. I think their Tenpai is pretty much dead. Whereas Beck's Tenpai, however, he doesn't have a Yaku, but he could win on Hote. No, he can't, because that's not gonna be able to do it for him. They are still both gonna get the points just for being in Tenpai, though. Well, kind of. They aren't really gonna get those points because they're attached to a teammate who, one person on each team, won 1,500, one person on each team lost 1,500. The points remain the same. We do see a change in dealership, though. Zoe's hand here is looking very, very nice. Starting out Ishanten, that's very, very good. See if she can maybe pick up a 6-mon, or if she can find a triplet in one of these. We'll see what happens there. She might also, if she finds something around this 4, 5, 5, 6, I was going to say that she could have ended up maybe looking at going Tanyao, trying to pick up some extra points with that. But it looks like that's not going to happen unless we maybe see a 4-pin. Nope, we're just going to see a Riichi here. Yep. 2-mon South win. And that South can very easily come out right this second. Okay, it doesn't. Rat Girl keeps the South for a second. Beck, hang on, who's pinging me? Who's pinging me? That's not pause requests, right? No, that's not pause requests. Okay. Beck has the wareme. The 2, 3, 4. Please stop pinging me unless you're looking for pause requests. I'm sorry. I gotta leave pings on because I was bad at checking it yesterday, but I don't want it to annoy everyone watching the stream. A massive win here from Zoe. Finding the 2-mon. Was that Uradora? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to pay attention. I was a little bit distracted for a second. I think, hang on, because they are at 78, 79, oh, 79, 100. They are just below the 80,000 average, so the other team is still winning very slightly. 79, 100 for them. Which means 80,900 over here. Okay. This is a very, very, very tight game, and remember, Beanie and Zoe had a mild disadvantage going into this that they immediately took care of, so we keep seeing close games like this. I wonder, I entirely lost my train of thought, y'all. I gotta be real, I entirely lost my train of thought. We'll see exactly how the rest of this day goes when this is already being the case, but we do see a white dragon call over here from Zoe. We have a 6-pin there. This hand is looking very, very, this hand is looking very, very fast already. Just from being able to call tiles mostly. Speaking of very, very fast, we have Beck, who has the wareme already in Tenpai, waiting on a 4-pin East Wind. And that it looks like a very solid weight, the East Wind especially. I think any player would be looking at that East and going, oh, I can just toss this very easily. Of course, nobody has it right this second, but as soon as somebody draws it, we might see it dealt in immediately. We see 2 Riichis now from that team. They see this game getting close and they just decide, no, we are putting our foots down. We're trying to keep this lead. We got to keep this going. I imagine we see the 5-mon being kept here, probably the 3-pin. Yeah, the 3-pin being dropped. So let's take a look for the 6-mons and 9, or the 6-os and 9-sos. The 6-os are being used by both Beanie and Zoe. I don't see either of those really getting discarded too easily. The 9-so, however, I feel like, knowing Beanie, he would probably keep the 9-so. Well, no, hang on. Never mind, because it dropped from Beck. So he, so that Riichi was actually dead pretty much from Apia. Not dead for a 10. She could have drawn it herself, but of course we see Beck winning that hand instead, which as the wareme player is kind of exactly what you want. So we have 2 Dora here already in Apia's hand. Very solid start. If she can find, I was gonna say, if she can find a 4-so, she will be loving life, and I'm sure that she is. Beck is the wareme player again. I feel like he's been the wareme player for most of the, maybe not most of the game, but he's been the wareme player, I feel like, more than he should be. This is something randomly decided at the start of every round. The game should not be preferring him, but sometimes randomness works that way. It looks like he's going to be able to get an Ipeko, looking for the 1, 2, 3-so. He has Ishanten already. Now, we do see in Beanie's hand two Dora that look pretty well like they're going to be staying. And his hand isn't looking too fantastic. He can't really call tiles unless maybe he can convert this to Tanya, which he might be doing. He might be doing that with the one pin drop there. He would still have to drop both of these though, so we'll see what ends up happening there. Apia not calling that. She could have maybe called that and tried to convert this to all simples, but she doesn't need to. And now, actually, she could just draw the 6-mon. That converts it to all simples too, and keeps her hand closed. So that's a huge get for her. Zoe has, let's see, 2 Dora, 2 red dragons. Very solid hand. It looks like she is Ryan Shanten. Probably gonna have to drop this 8 and 9 at some point, I would imagine. Well, I would imagine probably the 8-9, but yeah, and in fact we see that going right here. It looks like she might be keeping the 5-mon as a pair for whenever she calls the red dragon triplet. So I imagine we might be seeing the 6-mon, 8-mon dropping as well. That is a 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, and a pair of 8s. I don't think that really does much for you because you already have these pairs in here. I think I would have just kept this as, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just tossed out the other, or maybe tossed out an 8 for the 5, really. But I don't think that this being a pair really does much for you. You could call Pwn on these. We'll see if that ends up happening. You could end up drawing a 7-pin. We'll see about that. Let's take a look now. It looks like Beck is now able to go for a San Shoku of the 1, 2, 3 so. So imagine if a 2-mon comes out from Apia, then he would gladly take that and open his hand up. I don't know whether we're still seeing the Ipeiko or not. I'm not sure whether his hand's going to be closed or open. It could go either way here. We do see a Tenpai from Zoe, waiting on the 6-9. Looks like she did keep the 6-8 and pick up a 7 in there, so she is very happy being able to have this nice 3-han hand. Okay, and we see a Riichi from Apia. Both of them waiting on So tiles. We have a 4-7 for Apia, and we have a 6-9 wait for Zoe. Ooh, Beck immediately drawing a tile that would deal in, and again, as the wareme player, that's not great. 3-han over here for Zoe. And that should catch Mangonbringers back up. We'll see what happens in this final round. I gotta grab scores real quick. So we have 21 500s, so that's gonna be 84 500 for them. This game has been neck and neck this entire South round. 84 500 means that the other would be at 75 500. Oops. Would help if I put the 5. Nope, that's not a 5. That's a 5. So Beck... Okay, Beck is dealer, so he can just go with this 1-han hand. It's maybe not what he wants to do, but if he has to take it, he's probably pretty happy to. Just to try to extend the game. He is Ishanten. We'll see what he ends up picking up. This hand is looking very, very fast. He could easily get there. Beanie's still a little bit of ways out. Has this pair. He would really want to pick up a 3-pin, especially. Complete this 2, 3, 4. Ooh, that 6, 7 is also very nice. Yeah, drop the 8, so I imagine this 2, 4 is likely to go next. Zoe here, of course, has the triplet of greens already, just looking to end the game. We have a 2, 3, 5. She doesn't need to keep the 5-pin because they are winning right now. So holding onto the value, it's unnecessary. She could drop that and just replace it with a safe tile if she wants. We'll see if that ends up happening. Apia here with all 3 red 5s, looking very, very strong. I'm actually a little bit surprised that we see that, but Beck can very easily look for a pair in here as well. whenever I get the chance to do that, I personally don't like to do it, but I know a lot of people who do as well. Whether one is more efficient the other, whether one way is more efficient than the other, I think that this feels like the less efficient way, but honestly, I don't read up on enough theory to actually know. I think that this is extremely fine, if nothing else. We do see a 3-so drop from Beanie. I wonder if he's looking at folding right now. Probably sees these 2 3-sos out, worried about these calls, looking to just like keep the lead. I imagine that's why he dropped the 3-so and kept the 8-so. He does also find something next to the 3s, or sorry, something next to the 8 as well. And now we see Tenpai over here. So that is again waiting on the 1 and 4 pin. Now, Zoe has the wareme mark. As for winning with the wareme mark here, that doesn't matter so much because they already have the lead. If she gets hit though, that's where it matters. AP's hand is looking like it's very, very, very close. In fact, actually, hang on, is that Tenpai? Yeah, that's, ooh, we do see a Tenpai waiting on 3 and 6-so. A tile that, well, never mind, all the 3s are out, so that's not going to be happening. The 6-so is also interesting because it's exactly Beck's weight as well. Even Beck with this 2-Han hand, you know, if the 6 comes out, it's gonna be head bump. I forgot the head bump is on, not double run. So Apia would take it with her higher value hand and be able to win the game if the 6 comes out. We see the 9. I'm sure that you're not. Okay, yeah. So you just sumo that. It's not gonna be big. It's I don't believe that's enough to end the game. It takes 3,000. Whew. Oh, yeah, right. It wouldn't end the game anyway because of your dealer and you don't have more points than Zoe. What am I thinking? I was thinking that team-wise, that affected, that was only affected by team-wise. And also, I forgot that we don't have a Garayame on it anyway, so the dealership would be extended regardless of if you're in the lead or not. It doesn't end the game. Let's see if that puts them in the lead. That is going to be 78,500. So still no, but it does bring them very, very, very close. Again, this game is neck and neck. So, Beck here seems to be pushing a half flush. Half flush Dora, very solid hand. Beanie here, let's see, a 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, a pair of 5s, a 2, 2, 3 group that could be a pair, could be a sequence. It's probably more likely to be a sequence, I think, because of the 2 other pairs, meaning that this 5 is kind of just floating on its own, if that's the case. But overall, this hand is looking very, very solid. It's looking like it could be a very fast one for a Beanie. Speaking of fast, I want to see Apia's hand because calling over here, and you have the wareme mark. You are Ishanten. If you can pick up a 9-mon or an 8-pin, or that, yeah, now you're waiting on the 9-mon 8-pin. If you just drop the 2, there we go. This could end the game if somebody deals in to Apia. And that could change it as well to a 4-7 if she wants. Which she does take. Ooh, and we see the 4-mon immediately from Beck. He's not gonna discard it though. It's also, you know, probably a good thing that he doesn't because they are behind. It wouldn't be a good thing if he won off that. So, oh, but it does come out here. She probably won't, yeah, she doesn't take it. That would just be kind of guaranteeing the loss. When you're in the match like this, it gets to be very hard to pay attention to your hand. At least for me, it can be very hard to pay attention to your hand and also the overall team score. if the game is close anyway, it can be very hard to figure out, like, in the moment, like, okay, how much exactly does our full team need to win? Because then you also have to do the mental math of, you know, what are our points added up, which is just another thing added on to trying to figure out your own hand as well. This is going to be Tenpai for Beck, waiting on 4-pin, 8-pin. Of course, we see the Riichi as well from Beanie. He is going for Chitoi, which is exactly what I would not expect from him. Apia again ignoring the Formon. It's unfortunate that Beck pulled that tile twice. Oh, Beanie gets it and he drops it. That's going to be game. That is going to be a win for Rat Girl and Beck. I think, hang on, because let's see. That's going to be effectively 2,000. Oh, and yeah, she had the wareme. Yeah. Okay, so that's game. That game was so close. Let me just make sure, do my math right. We have, so that is going to be 70,000. So that's going to be 80,100. Sorry, 81,000. Yeah, 81,800. So they managed to come through. And then, of course, you get the rest. That is going to be, not that it really much matters to write this right now. 78,200. That was a incredibly close game for both of them. Let me go ahead and message our next participants. Let them know to go ahead and ready up. So let's take a look here. Who is in... Actually, you know what? Let me pull this up. Full screen this. We have Beevil Like the Bugs moving forward. And that is going to be Sun Station and Nanosnack, as well as Baby Hands versus Beevil Like the Bugs in round 2. We're going to be focusing this one on Sun Station versus Nanosnack, assuming everyone is around immediately. Let me go ahead and message all of them. Sorry if there's like crackly audio for just a second. I apologize. Unfortunately, I am running on a 14-year-old computer, so yippee. But hey, you know, it's usually fine. We have Sun Station. We have Nanosnack. Y'all will be in here for the next one. And a Baby Hands against Beevil Like the Bugs. We might at some point see a pause from Baby Hands during this match. We'll have to see. There is some inopportune timing on Bonzi's end today, but he shouldn't be away for long at least. Y'all will be in here. Okay. Whew. That game was so tight. Like, the entire back half, we saw some, like, massive comebacks from both sides. It was just incredible to watch. Both teams did fantastic jobs. I'm gonna go ahead and fix the scores back up. And then we should see, let's see, here are you. It's going to be Sun Station. And on the left, we have Nanosnack. Okay. Whew. Here is, there you are. We have Bonzi, we have Rat Girl, we have Beck, and we have Doe. Let me open up the Twitch chat again. Oops. Oh shit, Discord was on. Oh shit, right. I forgot about that. Oops. Oh well, that's fine. Doesn't matter. Listen, if I actually had like viewers, maybe I would matter, or maybe I would like be a little bit bothered by it. But yeah, no, like there was no real like hidden information there. It's fine to show that on stream. Thank you for pointing it out, though. I appreciate it. Okay, hang on, because it looks like we have everyone set at the everyone set at table 2. And table 1, we're looking for Sun Station, who have not shown up. Oh, Naomi is on. And Freelance Dog is on. Okay, cool. So they are on their way in. Let me check the participant lounge, just check to see any word from Bonzi. Okay, he hasn't said that he needs a minute right yet. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and use the bathroom real quick while we're waiting for our competitors to ready up. I'll be right back. And we're back. Still waiting on Malta to ready up. Let me check their chat real quick. Yep. When you're able, and I'll start the match. Whew. Also, I apologize if my voice is a little bit more hoarse today than it was yesterday, and it might get a little bit more hoarse over the remaining rest of the day. Yesterday it was starting to get a little bit rough toward the end. I was hoping that just like a little bit of sleep would help, and it did help, but like it's still, you know, a little bit rough, so we'll see if that ends up becoming a problem for later. I can go ahead and start table 2. If we don't see table 1 starting soon, I might start watching them, but I do really want to see table 1 as well. Of course, we have 5 minutes before we could watch either game, and actually, they have readied up immediately. So we can go ahead and... Here, no, not the log. Actually, no, there's no real reason to... Yeah. Do this one. Oh. Also worth noting that we have 4 games today, whereas yesterday we only had 3. So it might run a little bit longer today. 4 rounds, I should say. We have more games than that. Kind of. I guess we have 5 games. Right? Right? Let me take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So we have 4 rounds going on today, whereas yesterday we had 3. So it might be slightly longer. Ugh. Take a sip of my water. Water's so good, y'all. Is anyone talking about this? Is anyone talking about how good, like, getting fluids in you is? Maybe I shouldn't phrase it like that. Not with my audience, anyway. Alright, I want to see what's going on in the participant lounge. I'm gonna see if there's any fun stuff to say on stream for it. Nah. A lot of people talking about the last game mostly. Which makes sense. Again, like, the comebacks, the insane start from Bonzi was... It was incredible. Like, dealer wareme, 3 times in a row, I think. I don't remember if all 3 were wareme, but they were all big hands right at the start, all hitting like the same person. Oh, I would have been terrified if I was in APS position. I'm sure she had to have been. And then to be able to come back from that, come back from the very, very brink of defeat when y'all start so far behind. It was such a good match. It's also worth mentioning, again, the Mongon Bringers. They had the 4,000 point deficit to start with because Magia didn't show up. And I wonder how that would have changed the game. Like, obviously you could say, like, you know, there would be a 4,000 point difference, or I guess 8,000 kind of, because one team gets 4,000, other team loses 4,000. Hi, Reem. But, so, like, you could look at it that way, like, yeah, there would be that 4,000 point difference at the end, too, but I don't think that's always the case, because that is something that is played around in the game. So I wonder how that match would have gone if there wasn't that little bit of a deficit to start with, if they still would have been in it, or if it would have still ended up going the same way. Gotta stretch. Reem, you missed an incredible match. But I'm hoping that more of the matches today are going to be just as incredible. I've already talked about the last match enough, but just to catch you up. At the start of the game, we had Dealer hitting the wareme player like twice in a row, followed by like another small win on the same player. So one player was just knocked down to like 1,000 points immediately in East 1. And they managed to pull a comeback, and it was so tight the whole time. It was an incredible one to watch. Looks like we only have a couple seconds left until we get to see Sun Station versus Nanosnack. I'm excited to see how this one goes, because I was talking a bit to Nautico last night. Let me view Nano and show hands. Okay. So we could see this as an early half flush if he decides to go that way, calling on the south and the north, maybe dropping the 2 and 3 pin. But he also might not want to. He might want to just keep the efficiency and maybe eventually drop like the 9-mon, drop these dragons. We'll see which way that deals out. Nadeko looks like her hand is also very, very strong. Oh yeah, it could be an outside hand as well. I didn't even think about that. We could see the Chanta. Of course, you know, it sucks dropping the 9-so and then immediately drawing the 8, but that's just mahjong. That's just how that goes. But looking at Nadeko's hand here, we have the 6, 7, 8 completed. We have this 4 and a triplet of 5, so it's basically, you know, a 4-5 setup and then a pair of 5s. We have this 7, 9. If she can find an 8 in here, convert this to Pinfu, that would be fantastic. But she doesn't necessarily have to. And we see her also pick up this red 5 as well. That's fantastic. And it does look like we're either going for the outside hand or the Chito here. Still not entirely sure which way we're going yet. Probably with the 6-mon drop, probably the Chanta. But we'll see. Now, as for... Let me look at the wareme player. Let me look at Freelance Dog, Malta. So you have this 2-3-4 setup. That's nice. This 1-1-3 is... It's alright, it's alright. These are probably just going to be a pair of 1s at the end, but they don't necessarily have to be. You could find a pair elsewhere. 8, 9, you really need a 7 there, so she really hopes to just draw that. A completed 6, 7, 8 is fantastic. This isn't a bad hand at all. I don't know that it can outspeed Nadeko, but we'll see what ends up happening with that. 7, 8, 9. Now that's interesting because again, Nano did... he did drop the 8 earlier, so if he kept that, that would be risking Furry 10. Okay, yeah, I was imagining ignoring there. And it also makes sense because I didn't even notice he just ignored another one over here as well from Naomi. Now for Naomi's hand, we have the 7, 8, 9 and this pair of Wests. Those two are looking good. Everything else in the hand, it's serviceable. Like this 1 and 2 is fine. Oh, I didn't even notice that Nadeko hit Tenpai already. She had made a call to do so and immediately took 4-han off of Malta, who again is the wareme player. So that's going to be a big start for Team Nano Snack. Let me go ahead and catch the scores up. So that is going to be 95,400. Is that right? Oops. Well, that's not right because that looks very wrong. I think this would also be 94 or 74,000. I think so. Let me take a look real quick. Oh, 64,600. My bad. My bad. There we go. Okay. Thank you. I stayed up until like 3 a.m. working on... Well, actually, I stayed up until like 3 a.m. working on this 2 days in a row. I was going to say just one night, but no, 2 days in a row working on this... Not entirely working just on this, but like, you know, had other stuff I was taking care of too. This was like one of the main things I was focusing on was the overlay. We do have another possible, yeah, it looks like Nano's gonna be trying to go for the Chanta again. 2 Chanta attempts in a row from Nano, and also he is the wareme player. I should also be focusing on Nadeko's hand as the dealer. We have this 1, 2, 3 and a 3, 5, 7. This 3, 5, 7 is pretty nice, being able to benefit from the 4 or the 6 and drop the other side. If she can find a 3-mon here, she'll be happy. That could turn it into Pinfu, but it doesn't have to be. She could also find another tile to complete one of these 2 pairs as a triplet. I imagine the 7-so is going to go here. Yeah. As for Naomi, we have this 7-8, this 2-3, another 2-3, 5-6. She has a lot of setups that are all looking very, very nice. No completed groups yet, but they are getting there. Of course, with the 2 Dora as well, I imagine we're probably going to see a White Dragon call and drop maybe the 5-so or the 2, probably the 2-pin, I would imagine. No, sorry. Probably the 5, so to make sure to keep these as Dora. Or try to keep both as Dora, I should say. We are seeing a Riichi as well from the hand we haven't looked at yet, Freelance Dog. I can't see what the tile is behind them, but we do see they are waiting on a 4-7 mon. So pair of 4s, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 4, 5, 6. That's got to be another 4 mon over there. Which would also make sense, white's in red. So Freelance Dog, of course, looking to earn back some of their lost points. Or some of her lost points, I should say. It looks like Nano as well may just be folding at this point, has dropped a 7-pin because it was safe, and is now keeping this 6-mon and this 4-pin that he doesn't really need and that he's not able to use with his current hand. Imagine drop the 4-pin here, yeah, and then probably the 1s next. Whew. So these two are being very cautious of the Riichi. I still imagine that if Nadeko hits Tenpai, we might see a Riichi out from her. But outside of that, I think they're going to be... Oh, hang on. Are we seeing the 4-mon deal in? We are seeing the 4-mon deal in. So Freelance Dog is able to get back some of her points. Not an absolute ton. It is Riichi Nomi. Unfortunately, did not hit the Uridora. But always, you know, you do have that chance of extra value with Riichi, so I could completely respect that attempt. And also, it does get Nadeko out of the dealer's seat and put the teammate, Naomi, back into it. So let's take a look over here. We're seeing kind of the opposite of last hand here from Naomi. Last hand, Naomi had a lot of very good sequence setups, but no completed groups. And here, we still don't have completed groups, but now they're kind of bad sequence setups for the most part. This 7-8 is very good. She really hopes to find a 6-mon here to maybe make this a 5, 6, 7, and a 7-8. And also that extra 6 she picked up is very nice as well. But I think that this is going to have some tough stuff to work with. We'll see if she can manage to actually find those tiles or not. Then we have Malta, Freelance Dog here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's fantastic. The floating 8-pin, the floating 6-mon, you know, you can easily build off of those. The floating 8-so as well. 2, 3, 4, 5, great shape to build off of. This is looking like a hand that could end up being fast. We'll see what tiles she actually ends up drawing. Nano, is that Ishanten? No. Okay, that is Ryanshanten. Also, as the wareme player, being able to keep this door would be huge. He would love to find a 2 or 5-mon, or honestly, at this point, because he would really like to have a pair. Sure, these 6s kind of fill that role. Sure, these 2s kind of fill that role, but neither has to. If he finds a pair of the 3, he could look at that and try to maybe keep it for some extra value. I wonder if that's maybe going to end up happening. Oh, hang on. We are getting a pause request, so I'm going to back out of this very quickly. Tournament management... Shit. Where is that? Where is that? Where is that? Pause. Yes. Okay. Sorry, I'm still not quite used to the Riichi setup yet. We will also have to leave this game in just another minute to unpause that, but I do want to get back into this. Let's show hands again. It looks like Malta is picking up some good tiles here. That is Ishanten, I think. Hang on. No. Sorry. Ryanshanten still. We see a 6-mon call here. Looks like Nana's opening up his hand. He's going for Tanya Dora. He can work with a... Well, he might keep that 5, yeah. probably look for a pair in either of his two major sequence setups, or, you know, maybe, of course, try to find it in here as well. Really, honestly, anywhere except the twos are probably going to be it. The twos, weirdly, with this group, are likely not to be the pair, I think. We'll see how that works out. I could be incredibly wrong. 7-pin, probably? Yeah. Naomi not wanting to open up her hand makes sense. She would have to do a lot to turn this into Tanyao. I've got 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Nanago would really love a 7 here. This 4, 5 is very, very nice. I'm seeing a lot of, again, kind of awkward weights here. But she could... Not a lot, actually. I shouldn't say a lot. It's mostly just this 7 mon that's awkward. Because I imagine this 1 is probably going to be going, and that she's going to want... Oh, yep, that's fantastic, actually. Now you probably drop the 1, and you're looking for... Oh, no, you dropped the 8, 9. Okay, that's fair as well. And you know what, actually, I think both make just about as much sense. Looking for either the 3 or the 1 so, or alternatively, get the 8 or the 9 on. In fact, that probably makes a lot more sense than what I was thinking. Oh no, that's fair, Reem. I will probably be running this back at some point, so I'll, you know, I'll hit you up about that whenever I do. We'll see if you can get you. We'll see if we can get you in it. We also might need a sub player later, if, what's the name? If Beevil Like the Bugs, if that team ends up having some issues later, because Apia has said that she might be having to go for an appointment later. So if you want to be a substitute player, we might need that today if you would be interested. Probably not opening up the hand here, I'd imagine, because you can't really do much with it. You're also... you're calling con. That's interesting. I think you're probably just trying to give your teammate more value. Makes sense. They have the closed hand. If you don't feel like your hand is progressing well enough, then trying to give your teammate that extra value, I think can be a very interesting play, if nothing else. And Malta here, is this Ishanten yet? Because that is, if you get a 2-5, yeah, that's, no, it's not. She still doesn't have a pair. Never mind. Sorry. Still Rian Shanten. Now it's Ishanten. Now if she drops like this 2-so, that would be Ishanten. Or, no, better yet, the 7-mon. It's worthless in there. Definitely that over the 2-so like I was thinking. That was just the very, very first thing I saw. Nano doesn't really have a Yaku right now, but he could end up going Tanyao. And by could be, I mean, if he pushes his hand at all, he could be. Then he will be. Unfortunately, he is Rian Shanten with 7 tiles left. I don't actually think that that's happening. I think we might just see the exhaustive draw with only Nadeko and Tenpai. But I'm not even sure if that's necessarily going to happen, because with the 2 cons on the table... Oh, okay. Or she could just draw the tile herself. I was going to say that we might see her fold, possibly, because there are the 2 cons on the table. She could feel like, you know, Freelance Dog could have a big, big hand coming up. Speaking of Freelance Dog, she is the dealer with a pair of the Dora. She absolutely loves to see that, I'm sure. A red 5, this nice 1, 2, 3 shape. The hands, it's looking valuable, maybe not the most efficient. So we'll see if it can get there, but it is looking very valuable. Nano here, ooh, hang on. Nano is Rian Shanten for 7 pairs if he wants to do that, or alternatively, he could be looking at all triplets as well, because you can expect that the 1-so and 9-pin are pretty likely to come out at some point. Oh, hang on, that's Ishanten now with Chitoy with 7 pairs. Oh no, he cuts the 4-mon. Okay. Huh. I wonder what he's trying to do here. I think that the funniest option for what could possibly happen is that he picks up a 9-so and ends up going for the Doko. Now, do I think that that's likely? No. Would I love to see it? Yes, that's why I'm bringing it up. I would really love to see it. We need to see a Doko. Let's see, Nadeko's hand. We have the 2 pairs. Well, I guess kind of 3 pairs. The 1-3-3-3-5-7 shape, it's very workable. The Mon tiles are very, very workable. The pin tiles are, they're fine. That hand might be a little bit slow to get going. We'll see what ends up happening there. And I think, from the looks of it, I think that Naomi here, with the wareme mark, has the fastest hand on the table. Ishanten right now, if she can get like a 3-so, a 6-so, a 7-so, a 9-so, or a white dragon, then that would be Tenpai. And we do actually see Adora going away from Freelance Dog's hand as she tries to just go for Tanya Adora 2. Completely respectable. You know, you're the Dora, you take the value you can get. If you think that you can push 3 Han very fast, that's a completely fine hand to go for. I want to catch these scores up because I don't think I did that last round. So we have 59. We have exactly 60,000 over here for Freelance Dog and Naomi, which means that we have exactly 100,000 for the other 2. Oh, wait, hang on. I completely did those scores backward. And I am getting pinged. So we will be restarting the other match in just a second. Bonzi is just switching to his computer real quick. I'm sure that at some point we'll likely see a 3-so or a 5-pin come out and just get to Tenpai here. Okay, Paul is ready. We'll see if that round is still going in just a second. Resume that, and then jump back into this game. Okay, looks like that round... Oh, no, never mind. I'm just looking at the wrong player. I was going to say looks like that round ended because we're looking at a completely different hand, but I didn't realize we were just looking at an actually completely different hand. I thought it was Naomi's. So we are seeing what looks... Oh, hang on. They did actually get the 9-so and the 9-pin. We could see a Doko. Oh, but that's going to deal right into Nadeko. Are they going to take it? Do you want to win from your teammate? Yeah, it makes sense. You're in the lead. Move the game forward. Unfortunately, we don't get to see the Doko. I'm so sad about that, but like, hey, completely respectable play here. So again, the points don't really shift because 2 teammates won off each other. But we do move the game forward, and so now we see Nano. This hand's kind of rough. Like, your Montiles are looking great. Everything else is very, very standalone. It's not great right now. Needs a lot of work to get going anywhere. We'll see what ends up happening there. Who is the wareme? Naomi is the wareme player. 5-6, pair of 6s and 8, or alternatively, pair of 5s and a triplet of 6s. We have this pair of reds that can very easily get called on. I imagine this 1-pin's gonna get going at some point. This 8 is kind of worthless when you have this pair of 5s, unless she can manage to like get a triplet of these. I imagine the 1-pin's probably going, and then the 8-pin or the 8-mon's going next. And the 2 and 8 are like, you know, they're fine. You can probably build around them, probably. I think the big thing there is just like being able to call. Now, Malta's hand, Freelance Dog. We have 4, 5, 6, 6, 7. Fantastic shape for the So tiles. We have a pretty good shape for the pin tiles as well. We have a 4, 5. So, you know, fantastic sequence setup, and a 7, 9, which is an alright sequence setup. Like, it's it's a sequence setup. It's not like great, but it is one. And then your Mon tiles, you have 2 other awkward sequence setups. So a lot of setups, some of them are awkward, but you have some great ones as well. We'll see how that one goes. I feel like I'm saying that too much. Out of these hands, I think that Naomi has the best starting hand. Well, actually, hang on. I never looked at Nadako's hand. Let's look at that. We have this 4-5. We have this 4-5. This 7-8. Pair of 1s. 2-3, 5-6. Yeah, you're pretty happy over here. You have some great sequences. No completed shapes outside of the pair, probably. But they're all very, very, very good building blocks. I think that it's going to be a race here between Nadako and Naomi. Naomi, of course, just being able to call tiles on the red dragon would be a very, very... It could make the hand very fast. Unfortunately, they will need more value at some point, because that would only be 2 Han between the red dragon and the red 5. But that said, 2 Han with wareme is, you know, it's a bit more respectable. So we can see what ends up happening there. That could be useful for like a 3-4-5 maybe. I think you just drop the 8-so here and keep that as a small possibility. It's at least better than the 8-so, I would say, but she did also drop the 1, so she might choose to drop the 3 next to it. Okay, and she does. Doesn't want to risk like picking up a 2 at some point and ending up in Furry 10 because of it, I imagine. Nano keeping the red dragon. This looks to me, well, I mean, definitely if he's pushing it all, going for Tanyao. But I think he might be holding onto this red dragon for the opportunity to just like maybe fold later. To not, he's I think worried about dealing this in a little. Actually, maybe not. If he's going Tanyao, obviously he's dropping the 9 there. I think it makes much more sense than... Oh, well, hang on. Maybe that's not right. Could he be looking at like a 6, 7, 8 Sanchoku? I imagine that this is more just like folding, while maybe not looking like folding because he has the call on the table. That's what I'm more expecting. Also, I didn't realize Freelance Dog here is in Tenpai. Was actually in Tenpai for a turn already and is now choosing to Riichi, waiting strictly on the 8-pin. Ooh, yeah, no, Nano is not dropping this. And I can't imagine it leaving. Well, hang on. If Nadako picks up a triplet of the 1s or the 7-pin, then there is a chance that we see this 8-pin come out. It would be very scary to drop the 8-pin, though. I don't know that we're going to see it. Ooh, hang on. Okay, no, I was thinking that because of drawing the 3-so, there was a chance at Ipeko with the 1, 2, 3, and that could mean choosing the 7s as your pair, which would also mean dropping the 8 if you push. But that did not end up happening. She is not going for that Ipeko chance. A lot of pressure here just from the 1 Riichi. Now again, Malta's team, Sun Station, is very far behind right now. So these 2 players are probably just like looking at this like, hey, what if this is big? Let's just not deal with it. While I say that, Nano is pushing. A little, kind of. Obviously dropping the safe tile immediately after, but not really leaving him any more room for safety. Oh, hang on. Malta ends up picking up the 8-pin herself. So that is going to be Riichi, Dora 2, Tsumo, and an Uradora. Unfortunately, I believe it was Naomi who had the wareme mark. So It doesn't take quite as many points from the other two, but that still does change it by 6,000 points. So let me go ahead and mark that. That is going to be 94,000. Oh, too many zeros. Way too many zeros. You don't get 94 million. And you get 66,000. If my math is right. 600. Oh, that doesn't look right. Hang on. Hang on. Is that 84? No, that would be... Okay, hang on. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, hang on. We see an immediate con from Naomi here. Opening up her hand, but possibly giving her teammate more value. I do think that cons are very, very interesting in 2v2. Even if an open con doesn't, like, move your hand forward, even if it just, like... You know, even if it might lower some of your value, if you can give that value to your teammate, that could be very, very smart to do. And of course, with the wareme mark especially, this is Malta's chance for a comeback. In fact, let's take a look at Malta's hand. We have a 1 and 3 2s, so could wait on a 3 for a pair of 2s and a 1 2 3, or alternatively could wait on a 1 for a pair of 1s and a 2 2 2. We have this 1 2 3, we have the 6 7. The rest of your hand is mostly just tiles to build off of. We can see how they work out. This definitely isn't a bad hand. It's not the fastest, but I think as long as you can Riichi with the extra Uradora chance, I think you're pretty happy. Now, I should actually be looking at Nautico as the dealer. This hand is pretty close to completion, actually. Ryanshanten. I imagine probably dropping the 4-mon and 7-mon at some point. Those aren't going to be too useful, unless maybe if she gets too many groups, then she could look at dropping the 1-so and keeping the 8s as a pair, maybe turning this into Tanyao, getting some extra value out of that. You don't need value here, because they are in the lead, but of course, it always helps to have. It always just helps to have that as just like, for the future. For the next few rounds. Naomi here, of course, has the east winds. Now, those aren't going to actually help her. Those are not a Yaku, because this is the south round, and she is the south seat. I imagine if she pushes, we may see a Honitsu for one of these two suits. She's dropped both suits, so I'm not sure which she would go for. Or if she might think that those easts are a Yaku. Because if she's used to playing east games, then it gets very easy to immediately call that as a Yaku and think that it's a Yaku. But they should be in a call, so they've probably, that's probably already come up, like, you know, that's not a Yaku. If that was the case. We might see a Tenpai here, but it would be a no Yaku Tenpai. How's Freelance? Actually, hang on, I haven't looked at Nano's hand. What's Nano doing? Nano's doing Tanyao. Nano's got Tanyao shenanigans going on, and is Ishanten there. If he can get anything around here, that would be Tenpai. He can even safely drop those 3s, even though they're in red, just because there's no Yaku over here for Naomi. The only way that Naomi can really win this is by calling... Well, hang on. Can she change her weight of... Well, changing the weight wouldn't matter. I think you need to keep that for... no, I was going to say you need to keep that for, like, the Rinshan chance as a possible Yaku. But you can't do that because there's this 4 out. So... She just kind of seems pretty boned here. Hoping mostly just to win off of Haite, if she can get that. We see an open hand from Nautico. It looks like she's probably going to try for the Tanyao. Calling Pon, I imagine, on the 8-mon or the 8-pin, dropping these 1s. And then I think she would need it. Oh, hang on. I think she would need another group, right? Because, yeah. Oh wait, hang on. If you call off both, then you would be looking for a pair on the 3-pin. We do see Nano and Tenpai now, waiting on a 5 and 6 mon. Naomi no longer in Tenpai, but that doesn't much matter. She mostly just wants to not deal in at this point. The open con was a very interesting play for trying to give Malta some points, but it did maybe end up backfiring and not being able to let her finish her own hand. We might see another con here. Are you going to take it? You would probably like the extra chance at points. Ooh, that's going to deal into Nano, though, who is absolutely going to take this and move this into South 3. So now we have Sun Station as the last two dealers. Let me go ahead and fix scores real quickly. So that would be 32,000 plus 30,000 scores, 62,000. So they lost 4,000, which means you gain 4,000, 98. And we're good. Naomi's hand is looking very nice here. And she has wareme, and she's the dealer. There is a chance of a comeback with this. Reach 3 Dora, if you can get that, that's strong. Now, I think it would be a little bit hard. She pretty much has to draw one of these pairs herself, or, you know, tiles around them. Or maybe if she drops the 2-pin here, she could, well, not necessarily the 2-pin. That's, I think, what I would do, yeah. But, like, she could be looking at 7 pairs as well at this point. If she draws one more pair, she'll be Ishanten. So, right now, she's Ryan Shanten. And there we go. That's another pair. She is probably looking at 7 pairs at this point, dropping 2 through 5. Whew. This would be a big hand. So, Reach, Chitoi, Dora 3. You know, that's Hanemon. That's Hanemon setup. That's dealer Hanemon setup. So that's 18,000. And as the wareme player, that's 36,000. That gets them way back in this game if Naomi can actually pull this off. Let's take a look at some of these other hands, though. We have Freelance Dog, a 4, 5, 6, and yeah, a Baimon if you have any Ura as well. Not that the Baimon is necessarily needed here, but like, there is that chance on the table, and that could be huge. Malta here, we have a 4, 5, 6, pair of 6s. Very strong setup there. We had that 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. I kind of liked keeping that 2 and probably dropping the 2 so. Just because like it makes a better chance for a pair between the 2 and the 5 if you pick up like a 3 or a 6 mon over here. And then your so tiles are kind of whatever. I think Naomi's right now trying to figure out what tiles help her the best for Chitoi, which ones have the best chance. It's always tough trying to get that last one. Now for Nano, we have a 1 and 3, a pair of 5s, a 2 and a 4, 3, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9 is great. The pair of 6s combined with this 5 is great. The rest of the hand, it's again a lot of weird setups. That's going to help a ton, that 1, 2, 3. That's now a very strong shape. So we'll see. Okay, you're going to drop that 2 and 4. And then Nadeko. Is Nadeko also going for 7 pairs? Because that's Ishanten. Or is that just Tenpai? Hang on. Dropping 4-pin. That's definitely Ishanten waiting on 3-pin, 3 so, or 5 so. If she can find any of those, then that's Tenpai for 7 pairs. It wouldn't surprise... it would surprise me a little bit at this point if she called for all triplets. Because that's Ishanten versus San Shanten. Speaking of Shantens, though, Freelance Dog here, 0 Shanten, Tenpai, 369. Fantastic weight here. It's unfortunately, this is her teammate's chance to really come back with a big win, so that might kill Naomi's chance here if she ends up taking a win off her, or if she ends up taking a win at all, really. But we can see It would be... That is Riichi Fudora. So a very respectable hand. And Sumo. She's probably going to call it, I imagine. Yeah. Now, Tsumo, it's not as effective in 2v2, especially when your teammate is the one with the wareme mark. Just because you do take some points from your teammate, you take a little bit less from your opponents here, so it's really only a 4,000 point difference rather than this 13,000 would have you believe. But that is something. We'll see if they can manage to pull this back. I think that if they had known, if specifically Malta really, if Malta specifically had known that her teammate was Ishanten with such a big hand, then I don't think she would have called that. But I do think that calling that without that information makes a ton of sense. Let me go and mark the scores again real quick. This is now 94 versus 64, I believe. Wait, that's not right. Hang on, those don't add up. What's going on here? We have Naomi and Freelance Dog. They have 68,000. Or sorry, no. What am I saying? Yeah, sorry. 66,000 exactly. It looks like. Yes, 66,000. Which also fits up with the other score that I already have. Okay. This hand for Malta, for Freelance Dog, it's looking perfectly fine. Again, we have some awkward shapes. That's going to help a lot. Now you can find a pair anywhere else. You really only have this one awkward shape now. So you are going to be able to have a pretty fast hand here, I think. Nano, let's take a look at your hand. You have a 1, 2, 3, floating 4, floating 8, a 2, 3, 5, 6 that both share the 4. This floating 2 and a 5, 7, 7. You got some okay shapes, but like, I don't know. It's a little awkward to deal with some of those. Nadeko with the wareme. Again, because their team is in the lead, she isn't going to be looking for that wareme mark as a chance to like win big. She's more going to want to just not deal in. Because if the opponents can hit a big win off her, that could be a comeback for Sun Station. But I imagine, let's take a look here. This could end up being a Pinfu, maybe if she picks up like a 5-pin or something. This might just be Riichi Nomi. This could be a few things. We got some good shapes in here, so I'm expecting maybe not a very fast Riichi, but you know, a respectably fast one. And then for Naomi here, we see the 9-pin discard, we see those. I was thinking for just a second, I saw these 1s and 9s at the start and at the end, and I was just like, oh, could this be 13 orphans paying 0 attention to the middle of the hand and the discards? So, no 13 orphans over here. We see Green Dragon, we see pairs of both of these 9s. We do actually see Malta in Tenpai now. It's not going to be a very big hand. It's just... In fact, actually, right now there's no Yaku. She could still call a Chi on this 2, 3, 4 and like look for a middle tile like that 4, for example, to have had a pair in to turn this into Tanyao. Or alternatively, she can hope to just draw a red dragon or hope that somebody drops that and be able to be in Tenpai. If that happens, if she ends up... Ooh, hang on. Who's pinging me? Who's pinging me? Imagine game is... Okay, game's over. I imagine that if this red dragon comes out, that she's going to have to drop from this 3-so or 4-so. Well, she doesn't have to. She could drop from one of her triplets. That's probably smarter. Yeah, no. She probably just drops from one of the triplets. I don't see much reason to drop the 3 or the 4, like I was thinking for just a second. I was thinking about it like as if this was an all triplets hand, but of course you already have this called sequence, so I don't see her dropping these. I was thinking maybe she could end up dropping the 3 into Nana's hand, but probably not. Whew. Okay, let's see if Naomi takes that. She doesn't. It makes sense. They need more than that little bit of points in order to win. She is really more hoping to draw it herself, trying to get some value there, or alternatively go for another 7 pairs hand. You know, I'm gonna close out of the channel that I'm on right now in Discord because, like, I am seeing some spoilers for the game. Ooh, are we gonna see the con? Yeah. Trying maybe to raise your teammate's value, or, you know, maybe possibly your own. Unfortunately, you don't raise your own value, but you can maybe hope that Naomi can get a big hit off Nadeko. Nadeko as well, let's take a look. You are Ishan 10. You got these 2 different pairs here. This one could deal into your teammate and end the game with y'all in the lead. Or you end up dropping the 4-pin. That's kind of interesting. I was thinking the 4-6 shape would probably stay, but you know what? Actually, we do have the... No, I was going to say that we have the Riichi now from Freelance Dog. That's not true. We had the Riichi from Nano. Nano's been in Tenpai for a while and is now actually calling Riichi. Ooh, you draw that. That's not going to let you win, though, because you don't have a Yaku right now. You probably got to drop your red dragons and then try to find Tanyao. Are you going to drop the 3 instead? Probably not. That counter's ticking down. Okay, so they drop the 5. They take the Furry 10. No Yaku, Furry 10. That's a real rough position to be in for Freelance Dog. Hi, Saku. I hope you're doing well. We are just at the end of this game. Sixmon comes out. Oh, hang on. 6-0 for Nadeko. So that's going to be probably Red Dragon discard? Unless, would you? No, okay. Drop the 6-pin. Maybe you're hoping to find something around this. Again, it makes sense. Like, you're just trying to sort of play it safe. I say that as if, like... Well, okay, the Red Dragon isn't discarded at all. So, like, that's going to just be safer than the Red Dragon, flat out. But there's not really much indication for the 6-pin itself being safe either. The safest in Nadeko's hand was maybe like the 7-mon as full Suji does 4. That is going to deal into Nano, and that's going to end the game. We do see... I'm not going to worry about ending the scores because it's obvious which one is in the lead just from those. But we do see Nano Snack moving forward into the next round of the losers bracket here. I want to see, how's this game doing? South 2. Let me turn on hands. I also am very sorry, but Spirit and Lactone makes my bladder very tiny. I do have to go use the bathroom again very, very quickly. So I will be right back while this just plays out on its own without commentary for just a minute. Okay, and I'm back. And I also definitely should have fixed the scores before using the bathroom. But let's take a look. We have Bevo like the bugs versus baby hands. So let's see, what are the scores right now? We have 95,000, 96,500 for baby hands. That does seem like a huge difference, but at the same time, because Apia here has both Riichi and also the wareme mark, this could be a chance to come back. And also, let's see, you got 2 Dora as well. You have a nice Pinfu shape, and you could even get Itsu. This hand could be massive for Apia. This could be a comeback. But let's see, 96,500, so that's gonna be 63,500 for the other group. Oh, unfortunately, the wareme mark works backward for Apia. Not very much. It's not a huge hit. It's not a very huge hit, but it does, unfortunately, just continue to move the game forward with baby hands in the lead. So, Bevo like the bugs. Not a big fan of that, I'm sure. We do see a very early call. Makes sense. Apia's dealership, she can go for pretty much anything, and Toy Toy is certainly not going to be a bad hand if she can manage it. This looks like it could be Toy Toy and a round wind. Perfectly capable hand. Especially, no, I was going to say especially if she can hit off the wareme player, but the wareme player this round is her teammate, Beck. So that's not quite going to do it. You need to hit off Bonzi or Do with this. Unless you're just trying to, like, keep your dealership if things get spicy. Now, I am seeing the triplet of the Hatsu for Bonzi's hand. That looks very, very strong. There is a small chance, no. I was thinking maybe there's a small chance that we see, like, Honetsu, a half flush in Bonzi's hand. I don't think that's happening here. I think that these 2, 4, 5 groups are both too strong to really be looking at discarding. Like, you might be discarding one just because you have too many groups. I don't know that you'll be getting rid of the other. For Beck's hand, the wareme player, we have 3 Dora in this 5, 6, 7, 7. Now, he's probably going to want another, especially if you can find another 7-pin, that would be massive. Unfortunately, there's only 1 left in the wall. But if he could pick up a 4-pin as well, that would be fantastic. Let him keep these as a pair and the red 5. He'd go, 7, 8, 9, probably end up dropping this 5. But this hand is looking very solid over here from Beck. And for Do, we have a lot of pin tiles, a 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 8, 9, 9. Could call triplets on the area, well, not call, could draw triplets on the 8s or 9s. Look for a 2-pin. But also, like, I imagine we might see either one of the pairs, or possibly the 1 and 3, get discarded from Do's hand. Because right now she has too many groups. Ooh, we could even see a Chitoy attempt, but I don't know about... No Chitoy. Ooh, hang on. She's dropping a Sotile, actually. This could be a Chinitsu. This could be a full flush. She doesn't need to go for this at all. Oh. That's very scary if she can manage to get it. I was about to say, probably not gonna get that. Bonzi is in Tenpai, waiting on a 3 or 6. I don't know that anyone... no one currently has one that they're willing to drop. Like, the one that Beck has is pretty well locked away in his hand, unless he keeps that as a pair, which he doesn't. Instead, no, never mind, I didn't think about the fact that, obviously, this puts him in Tenpai, waiting on the 4 mod. He's gonna take that. Do draws the 6 mon that would deal into her teammate and move the game forward. It would be a good play if she drops it, but she doesn't know that that's what the teammate is looking for and not the opponent. she probably thinks that, like, that could be Beck style and be trying to play it safe there, when in fact that would help out their team tremendously. Hi, Sky! Hope you're doing well. We've seen some incredible games so far today. Ooh, and Bonzi ended up drawing this. That is going to move the game forward. It's not going to be a big win. Well, hang on. I didn't notice the Sanshoku, actually. It's still not going to be too big of a win, but it is going to be a win, and that's all they need to move the game forward. It takes 4,000 points from the opponents. Actually, that would probably be 5,000 because of the Riichi. So that is going to be 58 for these two. And that is going to be 101 for these two. I believe. Let me... something about those scores don't add up. So we have 1,000 there, so it's going to be like 65 plus... That's going to be... Is that 100? Is that 104 or 105? My brain is not working today for this. Maybe it's better to look at the opponents. That is going to be 55,500, actually. So I was 3,000 off somewhere. Which means that these two have 104,500. We should be looking at Bonzi's hand as the dealer. We have, ooh, a lot of triplets, actually. Well, a lot of pairs and a triplet. So this could go either way, or this could go Tanyao. Of course, this pair as well, being the Dora, is fantastic. Beck's hand is not looking too great. I'm interested to see how that's going to develop. I imagine probably getting some Yakuhai, but you're a long ways off from 13 Orphans if that's what you're looking for. I think you do need to try. I think it makes sense to be trying that here, especially with your opponents as the dealers. You can't really just rely on keeping dealership when they have that, you know? Apia has the wareme mark, so she's the one who should really be looking at getting a big hand here. Unfortunately, her hand is not looking too fantastic, for value anyway. For efficiency, this is pretty good. Like, especially if you could pick up like a 7-pin in here, that would also be Dora, add some value through that. Maybe if you're lucky, you can get like a 789 Mon to get a Sanshoku, the mixed triple sequence of the 789. I'm not really sure what's gonna happen there. Unfortunately, I think that Bonzi just has the biggest hand and is probably just gonna end this game to move baby hands forward, but we can see if something develops for either of these other two. Dancing on him. Didn't even mention Do's hand. We have the 678 call over here. It looks like she's probably going to end up going for Tanyao. Yeah, drop the 9-pin there. I'm sure the 1-pin's going next. Maybe build like a 2-3-4, keep the 5-6 for a different group. You know, build like something here in this 3-4 group, build off the 7. I don't actually think that Do is going to be hitting Tenpai. I think that this is just... I think this one's just Bonzi's game, honestly. I think everyone else's hands is just too slow. You're keeping that. I think the Beck might be looking for a Chitoi with only 3 pairs right now. I think that's maybe his best shot, but even then, it's not going to be nearly enough value. No, he's going for this 13 Orphans, and actually, he is 2 away from Tenpai. If he can get a 1-so, a 9-pin, and a White Dragon. Let's take a look for those. We see a 1-so here and here. 2 remain somewhere. We see the 9-pin here. Oh, that's just going to deal right into Bonzi and end the game, though. So that 13 Orphans dream is dead. I have to respect the attempt. That was, I think, about all that you could do in this position. You managed to get a lot closer than I was expecting. So, congrats to Beevil Like the Bugs for getting it this far. And especially big... Oh, wait, hang on. Right, there's no Agariame! Hi, Bonzi. I forgot there's no Agariame for a second. I keep forgetting that. So technically there is still a shot. I can imagine, because I see Paul in the chat, that this is likely not going to be a major upset from the other two, unless they can manage to get a Yakuman immediately. But this match is taking away that information. This hand could still technically be possibly won by them. Apia could be looking... Yeah, it looks like she's just trying to rush 13 Orphans. Even though she is nowhere near it, she has to try for some sort of miracle to keep her in this game. And I think Beck is not necessarily doing the same thing. He has dropped the White Dragon and the West Wind, so he's not going for 13 Orphans. But it definitely seems like Chitoy. 4 pairs, 1 being the Dora. Hoping maybe to turn this, especially with that triplet, maybe to turn this into a Suwanko, 4 concealed triplets. But I think that Paul's All Simples is going to be outspeeding this. And for Do's hand here, it's awkward having multiple pairs. One pair in hand is fantastic. 2 pairs is like, 3 and more is just bad. Yeah, okay, so dropping that 9 so makes some sense, especially, yeah, because you can easily build off of either of these, see if you can maybe find a sequence there. Is that Rion Shanten right now? Well, no, now that's East Shanten with that pickup. If you can find like anything else in these pin tiles, then that would be Tenpai for Do. Ugh. Yeah, that should be Tenpai. Double pair weight on the 5-pin, 6-pin. And she does take it. She Riichis, puts more pressure on the opponents. Paul, again, continuing to try to force this all triplets. It doesn't need to happen. Neither of them need to win here. And in fact, actually, it's better, really, for them if Do wins. Just because of the no Agariame. If Paul ends up in Tenpai, then the game would just... If Paul ends up in Tenpai or wins the match, then the game would just extend again, giving Beevil Like the Bugs another chance to catch up, but we don't see that. We do see Do take the win. And so that is actually going to be it for real this time. And unfortunately, Beevil Like the Bugs has been knocked out of the tournament. Y'all put up a fantastic run. That first match today was incredible from you two. Paul and Do, congrats on moving up to the next round. Speaking of, now we have no more matches going on right now. I gotta start those next rounds. Whew. Everyone else can go ahead and take like a 5-minute break. Well, I say that as if you haven't already been taking a 5-minute break. I'm just gonna ping you all in your games. Let's see. What's going on here? Let me screen share this for a second. So, we saw... It was Nanosneck that won in Table 1, correct? I just gotta make sure. I'm like 99% sure. Yeah, that was Nanosneck taking that one. Moving on against Baby Hands. And the winner of y'all's game is going to go up against the Apothecary coming up in round 4. So, switch back to Riichi City. Edit some Windows stuff on my end. At Baby Hands. At Nanosneck. Game time. And also, I'm going to go ahead and ping the Apothecary just to let them know that they're going to be going into the that they're going to be playing in the round after. At the Apothecary. One more. Actually, wait, hang on. Is Alice still here? I don't know that Alice is still here. I'll go ahead and just ping them. One more round until game time. Okay. Whew. We got Doe here. Well, Bonzi there, then Doe. Got Nano, we got Nautico. We are just waiting on Paul to ready up, and then we can start that table. Whew. After I start this table, I'm gonna go take a look back at the early rounds of the previous match while I wait for the 5-minute countdown. Also, I should mention, Paul and Doe, mostly Paul, because I know you mentioned when you came in the stream, like, the game's over, I'm not cheating. The game's on a 5-minute, or the stream is on a 5-minute delay as far as, like, watching y'all's matches. So, don't worry. If y'all are watching this while playing, it's perfectly fine. That is not cheating. Okay, so that game has started. Let's go ahead and take a look back at this for the early rounds. Whew. Let's just press play. So we see back here. I'm just gonna even leave these scores up for a minute. We see back here is dealer. Not a fantastic starting hand. And Apia is the wareme player, which isn't necessarily what you want to see. You never want to see your teammate really with wareme unless like y'all need to catch up. I guess to start it's fine because like this could be Apia's chance to win big. So there is that aspect of it, guys. I was thinking about it for just a second as the you would want to protect your teammate, but could definitely go both ways. Calling on the greens, probably not gonna be a very strong hand. Maybe all triplets from Apia at best. We'll see there. Doe here, a door of 4 and a 6. It's a pretty okay group. The 7-8-9 group, fantastic. Pair of 1s for both So and Pin, it's all right. And the sequence setup here, this hand's looking all right. It's pretty decent. It's definitely not like, again, the most amazing thing ever, but it is very solid for sure. For Paul, this is, it could be all simples maybe at some point, but maybe not. Doesn't have to be for sure. That is actually Ishanten, now that I look at it. If he can find something else around here, if he can find, or if he can get a 1 or the 4-mon, or if he can get the 7-pin, then that's Tempai for him. And if he ends up finding something else around this 4-5-5-6, he'll probably be likely to drop this 8-9 and convert this to Pinfu. And he does actually call Riichi here with Pinfu. Manages to find the 7, waiting on the 1 and the 4. And he gets it immediately. It's not Ipatsu because of the call, but still a, Riichi, Tsumo, Pinfu, red 5. Starting the game like that, especially when one of the opponents has the wareme, it doesn't hit them too much, but that is still a great way to start the game, and also gets your opponent out of dealership, so fantastic start there. We'll take a quick look to see more just how the scores went out over the game. Looks like this was close for a while. We see, of course, Paul's first hand being pretty sizable. Nothing like too amazing, but definitely very respectable. Then we see Do's small hand here, another small hand for Do. So their team has a pretty okay lead at that point. Apia gets a comeback, but it's kind of small. Ooh, hang on. We got a big hand here. So Apia's dealer and Bonzi is wareme. So I imagine you probably see a good hit off Paul. I'm just gonna scroll there. Yeah, so you'd sumo that is White Dragon, door 3. As dealer, again, that's very, very nice, especially when your opponent's called, especially when your opponent has wareme. Yeah, 11,700 takes 8,100 from Paul for some extra points, so that would catch them right back up. More small hands that look like from baby hands, hence the name. 6,001 here from Paul. Ooh, hang on. That one's not a baby hand. It does hit the teammate though, so that doesn't actually change the points. But their team definitely had a strong lead going into there. Yeah. It looks like just a lot of small hands from Paul and Do that were building up over time versus the one big hit from Apia there. Now, I'm going to back out. I want to see how much time is left for this. 30 seconds. All right. Oh, I should look at the hand where Bonzi and you call Khan repeatedly. Let's take a look at that real quick. See if I can find it. I imagine that might be... Wait, hang on. Did I see that hand? I didn't see this one. I'm just seeing a lot of... I'm seeing Akon there from Do. Was it maybe this hand? Well, no, because that would have been right at the end. I saw that one. Yeah, we saw the 13 Orphans attempt there. I'm not sure which hand that was. That is something that I think I'll have to watch later so we can watch this match live. So, we have the start of East 1. Let me fix the scores and the teams real quick. Unfortunately, People Like the Bug is no longer actually the team that is playing, so I will get rid of them from the screen for just a second. And they will be replaced with Nanosneck. Whew. Do's hand is looking very strong to start with. That is Ishanten already, if she can... Well, no, sorry, that is Rianchanten. I keep saying it, I keep doing that today. I don't know why. I'm normally pretty good at it. I also typically am more able to analyze hands, whereas right now I'm more pressured to just like look at all of them as fast as possible. So I think that's what's bugging me today. But still, Rianchanten here, this could even, if she wants, maybe tossing these out to get a half flush, but probably not. I think that would be maybe a little bit silly to start the game with. Yeah, especially when you just draw the 9 right there. You can Riichi and wait on the north. I think you got to take that. It's not going to be a strong hand, but it is going to be Riichi Dora, and of course you can get Ura Dora on top of that. No Riichi. We don't see a Riichi. She's probably wanting to try to get an 8-mon in here, maybe make this a straight, or even if just like a 6-mon or something, be able to get a multi-sided weight. That could let her wait on the door as well. If they can take that, no, they don't take that. They don't look for the Dora value. They are looking more for the efficiency here. Of course, let's look at these other hands. So we have Bonzi 77 here with the wareme mark. This is looking like a Tanya. I'm sure this 9-mon's probably going to be going at some point. It doesn't have to, because like this could also be Pinfu if he picks up a 7-mon. And Do does call Riichi here, waiting on that 7-mon Northwind wait. So wanted to wait a couple turns, but has now decided to just get in there and do that. Whew. Nadeko's hand is looking very strong as well. They are Ishanten actually for real. If they can pick up like a 5, an 8, even a 6 or a 7 as a pair, and then look for sequence in here. If they can pick up like a 2 or a 5-mon as well, that'd be fantastic. A 3 or a 6 would at least be Tenpai. You know, they got options they can get with a fast hand, and they also have some value there, the 2 Dora. Possibly 3 if they can pick up another 3-mon. And Nano's hand, of course, we have the Chunkall, so that is going to be a Yaku over there. It doesn't look like the most valuable hand. At best, again, I could see this maybe turning into all triplets, but I don't think that that's very, very likely. I could see a 1-so or 4-so call, dropping the 5, waiting on the 8, and maybe dropping the 7 or 9 at some point. But if he does that, then that would deal into one of his opponents. We do see 2 more Riichis now. 3 Riichis on the table. So, Paul waiting on the 9-mon 2-so, and Nadeko waiting strictly on the 7-so. It's all dependent on what everyone draws. Ooh, Bonzi's gonna deal right into that single weight for Nadeko. It's not a massive hand, but it is, again, off the wareme player. Riichi, Dora 3. You know what? Riichi, Dora 4, because the Dora, actually, that is pretty sizable. Yeah, that's going to be a Hanemon directly off the wareme player. 24,000 points? That's incredible. Plus the bit that was in the pot. The 2,000 points that were in the pot. Whew. Let me fix the scores. So that was plus 26,000 for them. So it's going to be 90. Nope, that is going to be 106. And that's going to be 54? Yes, 54. Do now is the wareme player. Her hand is looking... It's looking perfectly fine. I like the 5, 6, 7s. I like the 8, 9 as well. I imagine one of those 6s is probably going to be going, that you're probably going to find a pair somewhere else in here. Alternatively, maybe... No. I was going to say maybe you could like look at dropping the 5-mon. It would make sense, even what I was thinking. Oh, hang on. She is looking at turning this into Tanyao. They're going to also hope for Ipeco as well, if they can maybe like get this 5-mon. But they don't need it. This could definitely be Pinfu, Tanyao, Dora, a very solid hand. That 5-so is also a very, very nice get. They're intent by waiting on the 3-so, but it's strictly on the 3. It's just Tanyao, Dora. They want to get a little bit more value and a bit more efficiency, I'm sure. If they can turn this into Pinfu, they'd be very, very happy, especially if they draw like a 5 or an 8-mon, possible Pinfu Ipeco. Let's take a look at Paul's hand here. We have a 2-3 and a 3-4-5 with a spare 5, or alternatively, it could just be a 2-3 and a 3-4 with a pair of 5s, be viewed as a number of different ways. That's a possible Ipeco, 3-3-4-4-5-5. You have a 1-2-3 here. You would really like a 3-so for this 2-4 shape, and this 5-8 are just kind of floating right now as options to build off of. If you get the 3-so, you're really just looking for a pair in these. For Nadeko, we have a pair of 1s, pair of 8s combined with a 6, 7, I mean, that's pretty good. That shape's actually pretty good. We got this 2-4, and now it's a 2-4-4. That's a little bit better. We have the 8, The 5-6 is very nice, and the floating 8 over there. I think this hand, it's perfectly fine. It has a couple shapes, but like for the most part, it's very solid. Unfortunately, it's not going to be solid enough to compete with Do, who just managed to convert this into Pinfu, waiting on a 4 and 7 pin. Nadeko, even if she ends up drawing a 3 pin, it could end up dropping the 4 pin out into Do's hand, which would be big. Again, Do, it has the... Ooh, hang on. Do winning this. Reach Ipatsu Tsumo with the wareme. Pinfu, Tanyao. And the red 5 as well. And Sanshoku, I didn't even see the Sanshoku. Oh, goddamn. That's 32,000. What the fuck, though? Okay. What? Already? What the fuck? Okay. What the fuck was that game, though? Okay. So, hang on. Let me just count score in case, because that is going to be 70. Wait, hang on. Wait, wait. They don't win that. They don't win that. Oh no. I didn't. That's still 90,000 for Nano Snake and 70,000 for Doe and Paul for Baby Hands. Wrist. Oh, rip in peace, Baby Hands. She didn't realize that that was gonna kill Paul, and they just ended up going with it anyway, killing him. Oh, oh 07. Incredible, though. Okay, hang on. Whew. I'm gonna add Nano Snack at the apothecary. Losers final. Yeah. Losers final time. Let's go. I should also fix this typo so it's not losers final Tim. All right. I was not expecting the game to be over anywhere near that fast. Like, I was waiting longer for the game to start than I was actually watching the game, I think. Yeah, a heart attack can happen to anyone at any time. You're extremely right, Doe. And yeah, no, if you didn't get the Dora, Paul still would have been alive. Unfortunately, though, you did get that Dora and end the game too early for y'all to really continue that. Incredible hand, though. Whew. Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting that to go over nearly as fast either. If you need like a couple minutes, go ahead and take a couple minutes. I'm gonna take a look back. Well, first I want to see that previous hand again. I want to see that previous hand again, and then I want to take a look, because Doe was mentioning to look at the game before this. There was a round where her and Paul kept conning back and forth, so I want to see that as well. I was too excited at first. As soon as I saw the hand, I was like, "Oh no, that just wins. That wins them the game." But that would have, it would have won if it was Roan. But because it was Zumo and takes some from Paul as well, who just doesn't matter, doesn't really count toward that point total, it's not enough. So, Riichi, Pinfu, Tanya, you wouldn't expect this to be a 32,000 point hand. And yet... Oh, that does help. I'll definitely be looking for that in just a second. Thank you. Thank you, Doe. I think that no matter what, that everyone at this table had to have been laughing their ass off at this. Like, win or lose, y'all are having a fantastic fucking time over there. Oh, what an incredible fucking hand. Okay, so it was this one. It was a game where Paul won, apparently. Take a look for that. It might be one of these small hands, because I checked the big ones before. It's not going to be that one. I mean, it's not going to be this one either. Maybe I missed some cons for one of these. Did I? Because there was that con right there. That's only one. Was it in the first hand and I just don't remember it? No. I'm not seeing where that would be. Because I joined in for these last hands and it wasn't in those. I don't even remember what I just checked. This might have been what I literally just checked. I don't think it actually was, but... Oh. Yeah, no, I can absolutely respect that. Thank you for keeping that a surprise for the stream. It's just incredible to see. Yeah, I'm not sure where this game is. I can take more of a look in just a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and start this other game whenever everyone's ready. Wait, no. Oh, no, that is correct, yeah. For a second, I thought I added dough instead of bun puff, and I was like, no, 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 that's not right. Oh. Yeah, I'll start y'all's game, and then I'll look again for the game with the cons. I might go use the bathroom one more time first, just to like make sure I don't have to do that like mid-match again. Ugh. We've had both days. We've had some incredible We've had some incredible games today. We've had some incredible games yesterday. This tournament has been so much fucking fun. Y'all have made this incredible. East 3, okay. Thank you, that helps. I'll definitely be taking a look at that in just a minute. You know what? You know what, Paul? I'll take you up on that. Hi, hi.
Hey, hello.
Everyone, this is Paul from Baby Hands.
Hello.
How's it going, Paul?
I'm the one that Doe fucking killed.
You fucking died.
That shit was, no, you were right. No, the moment that shit happened, we were all fucking dying because I was the first one that realized that made us lose. I was like, okay, we busted out. What are the points? We fucking lost. I realized in like 2 seconds, and I got to tell everyone else as everyone else was figuring it out. Like the laughter just got harder and harder.
Hang on one second, because they're asking a question at the table.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, we don't want too much shared information. We want to avoid that if at all possible. So we don't want to give our teammates shared information, I should say. So trying to limit that, they were asking that because Alice and Bundle aren't going, Gengirl and Bundle aren't going to be able to voice chat, they were asking if Nano and Nautico should be able to, and I think the answer is nah, probably not.
Yeah, so for context, I don't know if you've explained this yet or not, but basically the players are allowed to talk to each other through voice chat or through text chat that is shared between all the players. They're not allowed to talk about specific tiles or like weights or the contents of their hands, but they're allowed to talk broader strategy, like deal into me or don't deal into me or try to push or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can talk like high level mahjong strategy and like team play, but not low level. If you should run this tile kind of shit.
Yeah. There is no like, hey, I have a 5/6, so like deal me a 7, please.
Should I get silly with it is acceptable, absolutely. Yeah, that was actually something Doe said a couple times was, should I get silly with it?
That's always a good one. I think I pulled that out a few times. Whenever I was doing a 2v2, it was the 2v2 ladder in the ladder server, doing that with Starliana, who is not in this tournament. I think I've asked that a couple times there.
You also can't use coded language to say things like, I'm going to kill you with a rock for not getting Sanbaimon, or I'm going to bash you with a rock because I was going for Sanbaimon and you wasted my 2-Han hand, or I'm killing you with a rock later, okay? Because that's all strategy talk. So you can't use coded language to try and communicate that to your opponent secretly.
Targeting Apia specifically.
As Apia tried to present, and I was like, no, that's strategy. You can't, you got to say that publicly.
Nah, it was all jokey though. We are waiting for Nano to ready up. So I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny because I was about to go grab some soju. Well, first of all, it's a little early in the day, but I was thinking about maybe going to grab some soju after this, but I probably shouldn't get drunk on your screen.
I mean, honestly, it's fine.
Listen, at most I might get a little toasted, but I'm probably not. It's too early in the day. So, as for the matches we haven't seen, I saw the end of the last one, but how have matches been today so far besides
They've been incredible. Okay, so the first match of the day. I've talked about this a few times on stream past this game, but like the first match of the day was incredible. We had Mongon Bringers versus Beevil Like the Bugs. So Apia and Beck versus Beanie One and a substitute for Magia. They had to take a small point penalty to start with, but it immediately didn't matter because Bonzi got a massive, I think it was a Hanemon with Wareme. And they hit Apia directly, who was the Wareme player. Then got another, I believe, a Wareme hand directly off Apia again, knocking her down like to, what was it, like a couple thousand points, like 5,000 or so. Eventually, they got another win as well. It was very small, but like she was down to like 2,000 points there.
Wait a minute, I blacked out. I did watch that game.
Okay,
I'm fucking stupid.
okay. But
I was thinking it yesterday.
No, that's fair.
I didn't get to see very many of the games from yesterday.
I
do see Beanie
I'm immediately
exploded.
blanking out on exactly what happened yesterday. There were some fantastic things. Started that game, by the way, so now we have 5 minutes to wait for that.
All right, you should stream to me on Discord.
Oh yeah, you know what? I should. You're
actually
extremely...
then we should also probably be in a private channel so people don't bust in.
It's fine, because, like, remember, streaming from this is in a 5-minute delay. I don't also expect,
Wait, is there a way
like,
to spectate?
to...
Oh, I can also spectate on my end, so I can just do the same thing. Okay, we're good.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'm just watching on my computer.
Fair.
Alright.
But yeah, what I was saying about the match earlier, I know you just said that you've already seen it, but just explaining again.
Yeah.
Apia was knocked down in East 1 down to like 2,000 points.
Insane.
And immediately after, ended up like picking up steam again, winning with her own big Wareme hands to catch right back up, and it was neck and neck for the rest of the game. There was a lot of back and forth for that. I was not about to. I did message Nano pretty much immediately, being like, hey, you know, this is East 1, but the game is actually almost over, so you might need to rush back from the gym. And then the game just extended much longer than that because Apia was very, very able to pull it back with her own massive hands.
How fucked up would that be if there had been 2 extreme blowouts in a single day of streaming?
That would be incredible. I'm very glad to see both ways though. I'm very glad to see both the massive, like, immediate blowouts that y'all had. Sorry.
I can't believe it was a fucking team kill. That's so good.
It was so fucking funny. It's very fun to see that, and it was also very, very fun as well to see the both the massive almost immediate win followed by the massive comeback immediately. It's good to see both sides of that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be right back. I gotta go use the bathroom real quickly, otherwise I'm gonna have to go.
Okay. I'll hold it down then. Hello, friends and neighbors of Krona's Twitch channel. How is everybody doing this afternoon? Actually, it's not. I'm used to always being on the mic later in the day, so I'm like, oh, it's only 2:30. It's afternoon. It's not evening. There's a kitty laying in my laundry. So we got a match coming up between Nano, Nadeko Medusa, Gen Girl, and Bun Pup. Just waiting on this delay to run out. Got a couple more minutes on it, but once that is done, we will get into it and get this 2v2 match underway.
Oh, and we're back.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, shit. Right, I was supposed to look. It was East 3 of... It was this game. I didn't take a look at this yet.
Okay, you got 75 seconds.
That's plenty of time. So it definitely wasn't that one, so it would be this East 3. So
Yeah.
this was the one. Okay.
Basically,
because I saw
yeah,
this
so
card.
basically what happened was Doe basically just like called, well, there was
I see.
I swear there was one word, yeah, there it is. She called Khan a couple times and basically ended up feeding me a bunch of Dora, and then I win the hand and I get a fuckload of Dora because of her 2 Khan calls.
Makes sense.
And that's when I realized the strategic niceness of calling Khan when one of your teammates' hand is still closed, because
Yeah.
it's actually, you can potentially feed them more Dora, which makes Khan statistically slightly better in team play versus individual play.
Absolutely. And we were seeing a lot of that from Sun Station too, actually. Naomi was often calling open cons that just like couldn't really work with her hand at all, trying to get some value for Malta, it seemed.
Interesting.
Big stretch
By the
before
way,
we
I have a
start.
cute kitten on. I have a cute kitten on my lap, by the way.
Let's go.
Very important. What a start! Holy shit.
Yeah, no, that's incredible for Alice. Let's go ahead and take a look at Nana first, and also show hands.
Yep.
So Nana's hand starting out fine. I don't know, it's perfectly workable. There's nothing really too amazing with it. I think the 2-4-6-8 is pretty nice, especially the 2-4-6 part. The 8, you know, it's probably going to be working with the pair of 9s. I do want to take a look again at Alice, since we were just commenting on that. Calling now on the red dragon, she also has 4 Dora, because again, this red 5-pin is double Dora.
Yep. And you got the pair of Wests as well, so
yeah, able to call Pwn on those or the 5-pin. And
yeah, either one is good. You're gonna want to wait on a pair of one of those, I think, for sure. But
I mean,
you if you get the 5s,
she'd be happy to either call on them or wait for them, I think, because like with the pair of West, of course, your opponents can very easily just drop the West. Yeah. But with the 3-sided wait on the 3-6-9, that's also very strong as well. Like this hand is incredible.
Yeah, it's Ishan 10 with like fuck billion tiles of acceptance. It's really good.
Yes. And yep, there we see a pawn there. So now she's in tempi with that 3-6-9. 4 Han right now. Well, sorry, 5 Han right now. So that is going to be a Mongon. Not really going to be able to get wareme with it unless she just wants to move the game forward and not. No, she chooses. Well, not chooses. She ends up winning off of Nana, who deals right into the 9. So it makes sense. You would not expect her to be in tempi this early, especially with such a strong hand. I should also fix these scores real quickly. Well, I should probably hang on. Because that was actually gonna be 92,000. Let's actually figure out who's in there first. So you're gonna be there. You're gonna have 92. take a look at Nadeko. And they're going to be down 12,000, so that's going to be 68,000 over here. And they are also not baby hands. I got to change that.
No, I was baby hands.
You were baby hands.
And we we got away from our founding principles, and for what?
For a lot of fun, at least.
Yeah.
Y'all made an incredible moment. So you can be happy with that. Your sacrifice was not in vain. It was for our amusement. That's what matters.
True.
Nadeko's hand here, it's got some workable groups. Unfortunately, 3 of those are pairs that are going to be a little bit awkward. That one at least helps with the 3-mons, so we can see what happens there. It's perfectly fine, but there's nothing very special about it. Alice now has the 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a fantastic group that can build off of either side. A 3, 4, 5 already finished. A 7, 9 pin. That's great. Actually, is she just Ishan? Yeah, she's Ishan 10. If she picks up an 8 pin or a 7 cell, then that's Tempai. It won't be a big Tempai, but it will be a Tempai. She could also turn this into a 7, 8, 9 Sanshoku. Probably isn't now that she drew that, though. Okay, let's take a look at Bunpup, the wareme player. I'd imagine... Is this going to be... No. I was thinking for a second, I only saw the 1 so and the 1 9 pin. I was like, maybe this could be Tanyao, but I think the 1 so is pretty much staying in there unless she draws a 4. I don't think this is likely to be Tanyao.
Meanwhile, on Nano's side of things, we do have that 3-sided weight, but other than that, we got the double closed weight in the pins. It's looking a little rough on that hand. It can potentially advance, but it's gonna take some time to get there.
I don't think it will actually, because no, the 3-sided weight, of course, as you said, very nice. The double closed weight is perfectly fine. Like if you can call on one side, you just drop the other. Really, the only awkward part of Nano's hand is the 2 so. He is Rian Shanten. If he can just call on like a 7-mon. And like a 3 pin or something, drop the 2 so and the other side of the 2, 4, 6. Unfortunately, he is now dropping a safety tile, or having to drop a safety tile, because he is very much afraid of Bunpup's wareme with the Riichi call.
After the day 1 matches, I became far more aware of the wareme for day 2. I don't know, I couldn't really internalize the double points aspect of it in the first day, but as the day wore on, I saw it more and more, and then I watched the stream and I was like, God, I really got to pay closer attention to that. And
yeah,
I fully internalized it for day 2.
It's the game changer, absolutely. Like you definitely can't ignore it. So I'm interested to see here if Bunpup can manage to find the 7-mon and get those double points or not.
Just a single 7-mon zoo here.
Ooh, she does draw it.
And there it is.
Yeah, again, it's not going to be a big hand. But 5,000 points is 5,000 points. And it does move the game forward with their team more in the lead. So that is going to be 95,000 for them. Which means that the other would be at 65,000.
All right, we advance to East 3, and boy, that's a lot of Pinzu.
Oh, yeah. For both Nadeko and Gengirl. Especially Gengirl, though, I think. I do like her Ipeko shape with the 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. A possible Ipeko shape, of course, she could end up picking up a 4 as well, though that might be working more at the 4, 5, 6. So I think the 1, 2, 3 Ipeko is a little bit more likely here. She can find a pair of the 8-mon, the 8-pin, the Red Dragon, the 1 so, any of those. This could easily become Pinfu, Ipeko, Dora. And Bunpup with the wareme again, and that's a lot of Dora in her hand too. So I'd expect like Tanyao, Dora 3. That's nothing to sneeze at there. That's, you know, if that's an 8,000 point hand, that's suddenly turning into 16,000 points.
You have to get rid of the ones in order to do the Tanya there. We're sitting on the pair and the
Yeah.
2 single honors.
Alternatively, this could end up... Oh, no, hang on. I see.
What's the angle?
She's not going for Tanyao, she's going for Honitsu.
Yeah, that's
Or
kind of what I was thinking.
maybe, possibly, Toy Toy, but probably not. I think that's a pipe dream.
I'm not sure where this hand is going anymore. We got the pair of ones, we got the 3 and the 6, we got the open weight on the 4-5 Pinzu, and the single red dragon. Boy, you could start working towards... Okay.
Rinshan? Can we talk about Rinshan?
That's, like, the best angle right now, because, like, you got the pair of the ones, you're technically Ishan,
Oh,
but,
wait,
like...
hang on. Rinshan's impossible.
Huh?
Because Nano has both the 5 and the 7 mon.
Oh.
I guess I shouldn't say impossible. She could call Pwn on the 1 mon, and then upgrade that to a con at some point. And then look for a pair
I'm
in like, the
questioning...
3 and 6. That's about all I can
I'm
think
questioning the 3-pin discard there, and I would also keep the... Okay, so the issue is, right now, I don't think Bunpup has a way to win this hand.
Yeah.
I think what Bunpup needed to do on either of those... Okay, you got another chance? Okay, it's not gonna happen.
No.
Is you need to get rid of those pair of ones and try and run the 4-string weight, whatever you want to call it, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
And try and turn either the 3 or the 6 or the 4 or the 7 into your pair. And then draw a tile adjacent to the 3 or the 6 of Monzu, or draw another 3 or 6 of Monzu if they're available, checking the discards.
Yeah, it is a very
if
versatile
we're trying to maybe
shape like
play
that. Ooh, are we going
well,
for
we're
the
just
Honitsu
folding
at
it up
this
at this point. We must be, right?
It's
maybe,
either folding or the Honey. Well, no, sorry, Chinitsu. Again, there's... Okay, hang on. So you said that you haven't seen many games from yesterday. Bunpup's plays yesterday, they were always much bigger than they needed to be. There was at one point where it was South 4. They were in the lead. There was no reason not to take a Tsumo that would have ended the game with her in the lead, with her well in the lead. Instead, she calls Khan because it was the Dora and she wanted extra value, and she still won on the other way.
That's just flow. You're playing for flow at that point.
Oh, absolutely. So I think that's what she's doing here. I think she's trying to just win big, especially with the wareme mark. Try to get the Chinitsu. If she can get the, if she can get the, why am I forgetting? The Hanemon. If she can get the Hanemon, we also see Riichi here from Alice, possibly. No, we don't. We see a Dama from Alice waiting on the 147. Dama Pinfu. Possible Ipeko as well.
Possible Ipeko, yeah.
Or,
and there's
there we
the
go.
Tsumo.
But yeah, no, if Bunpup could have had the Chinitsu with the Wareme, that's a Hanemon that is 12,000 points suddenly boosted up to 24,000. I respect the attempt heavily.
Yeah.
It was never getting there, but I respect the hell out of it. She definitely plays big.
I'm the same way. I get it.
So now we see Gengirl's hand here. This is looking like a very nice start. It could easily be Pinfu if she finds something around like the 5-pin and the 4-so. Drop the dragons. Doesn't have to be though. It could be many other things. Could be just Riichi Nomi. It could be a Yakuhai. There's lots of options there. For Bunpup, we see the 1, 2, 3 so. We have the 3, 4 pin. We have the 5, 6, 7 mon. We have some good groups there. She's going to need a pair at some point and building one more group, but that's not too bad. And even finds the 2 pin next to that 3 and 4. Nana with the Wareme. This is their chance to catch back up. That hand's looking a little bit rough, I think. You got the 7, 8. You got the 6, 6, 7. Those are pretty good groups. Well, actually, 7, 8, 8 especially now is making that a little bit stronger. But then
Nanako's fucking zooming over here. Hello?
8, 9.
Oh,
yeah, Nanako is. It's probably just going to be Red Dragon Dora. It's not going to be big, but it is going to be something.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I should actually fix the scores again. So that is going to be 97,600 over here. 97,600. And on the left, We then have 50, 61, 62, 4.
Don't look now, but we got a Cheetoy alert.
Ooh, oh, we do. Hang on.
Nano might be going for it.
Yeah, that's also a way to improve Nano's hand. I was just talking smack about it a second ago, thinking that it wasn't a very good hand, but hey, this...
All right,
You're
important decision here for
always-
Nano. Do you dedicate yourself to the Cheetoy, or do you... Okay,
He
yeah.
dedicates. He's going for it. I think he has to at this point. There's not too much else
Yeah.
you can do. Like, you're Ishanten with it versus, what would that be, like, San Shanten? 4 Shanten, maybe? Yon Shanten? If you're not, I think that's San Shanten.
Speaking of
I would have to check.
Ishanten, Nanako picking up the third Chun
Ooh.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. Can call a pawn on the 6s if that comes up, or alternatively just finding a pair of the East or the White Dragon.
And we got 2 Easts in hand right now, but no Easts
Oh,
or
that
White
is true.
Dragon showing in the discards as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
One White Dragon picked up by Gengirl here, but...
I do wonder if we're gonna see Nadeko and Gengirl both waiting on East Wind. I think that if it happens for Gengirl, that we might have like a possible. Well, hang on. Would that even work? Ooh, no. I think that
What are
the
you
East
thinking?
might just end up being a pair. I was thinking that it could be possible to see like one of those weird shapes where you have like both a double pair weight and also possibly a sequence weight on the other end of whatever you're using that pair for. I don't think that would have worked out here. But there is, I guess, a small chance that both could end up waiting on the East still. Probably not. Again, I
Bun
think that
Puppet
the East
Senpai.
is just locked into Gengirl's hand, possibly as her pair. Well, and she could go for pair, I guess, of 6 or 9 as well. And yeah, bump up in Senpai.
Well, there's the nut.
Tonyo Nomi.
Yep.
It's not much, but they don't need much. They're already in the lead. It would move the game forward, even if it kills her teammate's chance at some points. The teammate doesn't really need those right now.
Change the weight there. White Dragon probably going to come down.
No,
Never
we
mind.
see the Riichi on the White Dragon. It's going to be interesting to see, because those are almost certainly not going to be dropping from Gengirl's hand unless she tries to play safely, because they do look kind of safe as a pair. It could also easily drop from Nadeko, who Nano doesn't really want to win on, because they're behind, and winning off the teammate isn't actually going to change the point situation like at all.
Yeah, from Gengirl's perspective right now, this looks like an effective hell weight for Nano, if it's the White Dragon, which is insane because normally you don't expect a pair weight for a White Dragon.
You usually don't, but hey, a Cheetoy can always happen at any time.
That's true.
I keep watching Nautico's discards because, like, I feel like that white... At some point, you know, either the East or the White Dragon is going to be coming out. And now it's
There's
probably
the
going to
East
be the
and...
East.
Okay. Yep. Oh boy.
Yeah, so I don't think Nautico's going to be hitting Tenpai, especially not with 3 tiles left. And Nano is also not going to be winning this one. No reason to do that. No reason to take that pawn.
All right, show 'em. Nanako, despite having the fastest and most promising looking hand early on, ends up not being in Tenpai, probably for folding reasons. I spaced out for a sec. Oh, hey, my power just flickered. There's a storm blowing through. I might lose electricity at some point.
Okay, understood. If it happens, it happens.
True.
Good luck with that.
looking at here.
We do see Gengirl starting with a pair of the double East, so you know she's gonna be happy with that. She actually had that last
Nano
round
has...
too as well. And then we
Nano
have
just hitting the gas pedal right away.
absolutely. Apologies for
on
the
this,
stream, by the
this
way.
looked
That
like
was my
some-
Discord. I will be going on Do Not Disturb again.
We're looking at some outside hand mess over in Nano's hand here.
Discord? Why do you not want to? Why do you not want to
Oh.
let me do this? It doesn't want to let me. Oh, there we go. Okay. For a second, it didn't want to let me go Do Not Disturb. I mostly wanted to stay off of Do Not Disturb, so that way I could catch your
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
appreciate
your
that.
ping in the pause requests.
All right, the outside hand angle looking alive and well over in Nano's department.
This would be his third attempt at a Chanta today. Um, at, yeah, no, this would be his third attempt at it. Because he had two right back to back in his first game today, and now of course there's this. Um,
Sometimes you just get cursed with certain hands. That happens,
that
man.
is true. That is true. And honestly, the Chanta, it didn't quite work out from the first time, but he ended up winning that match, and he did win the second Chanta.
Mm-hmm.
So like it hasn't been treating him poorly. I don't know that this is still Chanta.
Yeah,
It's
right now
looking
there's
weird.
not a Yaku that I can see.
Like it definitely
Unless
could
you're,
be. I think if I think of a 9 comes out, then he's very happy to call on it. But
yeah,
he might just be calling to put pressure on the opponents.
that's true.
We see Bun Pup here with the wareme. Her hand is looking, well, it's looking fast with the calls. She's gonna need the red dragon to come out at some point, which it probably will. She's gonna hope for it anyway.
Nano angling for the open Epeko strat.
You gotta love an open Epeko. Not worth anything except for your own
No,
satisfaction. Um, and Natika's hand
it's worth
here.
making you
Let's take a
feel
look
good about
here.
yourself, which is
1, 2,
something.
4, 5, 7, 8. The 1 and 2 is pretty bad, especially when combined with the 4 and 5. I'm actually surprised to see the 8 go instead of the 1 and 2. Well, the 1 is Dora, so that is probably why. You do have a 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a fantastic shape in the So tiles. That's incredible. Yeah, no, I think I get dropping the 8 So there, or the 8 Mon there. It's definitely less efficient by far than dropping the 1 and 2 pin. Well, maybe not by far. It is just less efficient than dropping it, but it is not like super bad.
The outside hand dream is alive once more.
Okay, Nana's trying it. If he can get the 1 Mon, then that would be huge for him.
One Mon, not
Hi,
the White Dragon's
Rox.
not
Welcome
coming
on
down, but
in.
hello. Hey, Rox.
We have a 2v2 tournament going on. It is day 2. These are the losers finals. And then we'll have the grand finals coming up at some point, determined by the 2 teams of finalists. We are playing with wareme as well, so we could see Bun Pup here has the times 2 mark.
It's happening.
Ooh, the chant is real. Unfortunately, the white dragons are going to be locked up in Gengirl's hand, but Bun Pup could very easily drop hers.
I could absolutely see that coming down from Bun Pup.
Yeah, I don't know quite. Her hand is very awkward. I think a lot of her hands are very awkward, but she somehow manages to pull a lot of them out. Nano doesn't get it, but Nadeko does. So we have a 3,900 point hand from Nadeko. They were probably really hoping to win that off of Bun Pup for the times 2, but that is still, you know, getting yourself a few more points when you're still in the East rounds. That is completely reasonable. I'm gonna go fix the scores real quick.
After a little bit of Hanba wheel spinning, we finally make it into East 4. Woohoo!
So let's take a look here. We have Nadeko and Nano. They have, if I can do math, which I can't, 65, so that's going to be 64 actually, 64,900, I believe, if my math is right. 64,900 for them.
For everybody just joining us, format's pretty simple. Basically, there are two teams of 2
right.
in each game. Play a full Hanchan, you add up the 2 scores of the 2 players on the teams, and then whoever has the bigger number wins. We also got wareme on, which means that if you got the dead wall break on your side of the table, your wins and losses are worth double. So, a little extra volatility and spice to shake things up here. As you can see, Nano right now has the X2 mark on their profile picture saying that they are worth and will win twice as many points.
Yeah, wareme has been very, very, very spicy this tournament.
It killed me.
It did kill you. For those just joining, we had a huge hand a minute ago. It was like East, what was it, like East 2, East 3? It was very early in the
It
game.
was East 2, yeah. Something like that.
It was very early in the game, and Paul's partner here, Bonzi's partner, Doe,
Hi.
she got a great Hanemon Sumo, and she had the
Baimon.
wareme. Oh, was it a Baimon?
It was a Baimon.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, it would have been Baimon. Yeah. So it was a Baimon, and she had wareme. So instead of being 16,000 points, it ended up being 32,000. But Nano and Nadeko already had a much stronger lead. So that 32,000 points, it almost caught their team up, but not quite. And it did kill Paul, so it ended the game. We do have Toby on. So busting is a thing. That is what killed their run. It was hilarious to watch on stream. That was incredible. And I thought for sure for like a solid minute that Doe won the game. And then while I was just cracking up laughing, not even looking at the scores or anything. And then I looked at the game and I'm like, wait, hang on here.
Hey, speaking of looking at the game, what is going on in this game? Good lord.
Okay, so we see. Wait, hang on. Why drop the? You dropped the 8? That would have been a nice 7-8-9 for you. Oh, you're trying to force all triplets. Bunpup for this entire tournament has been trying to force ridiculous hands where they don't need to be, and I always respect the attempt. No, I don't think that she ran out of time. We have a 30-second timer that renews every turn. There's no it's not the usual 5+20. We have players of all skill levels here, so I wanted to try to give everyone a little bit more thinking time. But Bunpup has been making massive plays in every single hand, always going for the biggest stuff she can. She has denied a Tsumo that would end the game with her in first, guaranteed, not even a question, just to get more points day one.
And it worked.
Ridiculous stuff. It did work, and that's why she's here. Oh, hang on, we see a Nadeko win. And it's on the Dora, too. Hang on. So we have... Ooh, I didn't see the triplet Dora from Nadeko. A nice manga on there. That's going to help catch them back up a lot. So that is going to be now 87 versus 72. Score's getting a little bit tighter.
Chug.
I'm seeing Bumpup's hand with the 2 Dora. That's very nice. I'll talk about that in just a second. Let's talk about Nano's hand right now first. Lots of different
wheels on
here.
wheels.
Yeah. We have all these different pin tiles to work with. Plenty of options there. We have this nice 2-3 group. The 8-9 it's serviceable. Like, it's fine. It's not bad, but it's, it's something. The 4 and 8 mon... The 4-1 especially, you might be able to build off at some point, but I don't think he really needs to. I think that he's really just, especially drawing pin tiles like that. Just drop those. So his hand's looking great. That's looking very fast. Nadeko, we see the pair of whites. We see the pair of reds. We see the triplets of 6s. The pairs of 1 and 3s. This could be Ipeko as well. Or this could... if she gets very lucky, be Suanko with the wareme. Can you imagine?
Oh, that would actually be fucked up. Okay, I'm down for that. Let's see what happens.
I hope. Let's take a look here. Hang on. Where are the... We see 1 red dragon in Gengirl's hand. We don't see any whites. Do we see 1 pin, 3 pin at all? We do see 1 of each of those in Nana's hand, but 1 as well are going to be available for anyone else. Nadeko doesn't call that, not going for the all triplets. We see Bunpup
Nano
here.
looking for at least the Tanya right now.
Bunpup, I guess, is going for all triplets. Again, trying for big plays that might not work out, but might work out as well. If nothing else, this puts a lot of pressure on Nano and Nadeko. Seeing 3 calls, all pawns, with a triplet of the Dora. That's very scary to be looking at, even if the rest of her hand... from our perspective, is not very scary.
Because like Bunpup, because the way Bunpup is playing, if you're just in a game of mahjong, you don't assume that your opponent is trying to force anything like this. So you see somebody lay down 3 pawns, it doesn't matter what they have in their hand. That shit's scary, and like they're in Tenpai right now,
It
but
doesn't much
I don't
matter.
think they have a Yaku.
Unless
So
they get Rinshan. They could get
yeah,
Rinshan
Rinchan
with one of their 3 triplets. Oh, no,
or
that's
this
gonna be
could
a win
happen
for
instead.
Nano. It's not going to really do anything. It's not going to change the scores at all. But it is going to let Nano retain his dealership and just get rid of the 3-door that were on the table to his left, despite
Yeah,
not knowing
definitely.
how not very scary they currently were.
Which in a sense did
Uh,
kind of make the pressure work in that it
yeah.
ended up neutralizing any potential point gains that could have happened.
No, absolutely.
Oh, one more west? No. And Bun Pup immediately sees blood in the water.
13 orphans. Oh,
You got 6, that's basically halfway there.
sure. God damn it, maybe. Almost certainly not, but maybe. We can hope. I'm looking at Nana's hand. This is kind of rough. It's like he can call in souths.
Oh.
He could definitely call tiles actually. You know, now that he has the 789, that's definitely a little bit better. He'll be able to call tiles here, just take another 1-Han hand to, you know, keep his dealership going, and hoping this time to win off somebody that isn't his teammate. Looking at Nautico, we have a pair of 9s, we have the 7-9 that's not so great. It's also kind of attached to a 5-pin that could be a pair, could be a sequence with those. Ooh, now it's 3 5s.
A.
That's nice. 3-pin, of course, also attached to those 5s. It makes it kind of an awkward shape to work with, but that doesn't make it not a strong shape to work with.
Yeah.
The 6, 7, 8, 9 is mostly, sorry, I thought that was a 6, 7, 8, 9. That's just a 6, 6, 7, and a 9. There's no 8 there. So she's hoping to find an 8-mon at some point there. Ooh, hang on, that's now become a triplet. That 5, 5, 7 is now very nice. Because, like, you know, you have a pair of 5s and then also either the 5-7 sequence or the triplet of 5s with a pair of 7s possibly. Nadeko is Ishanten. Unfortunately, that wouldn't have a Yaku. But she could just be trying to put pressure on her opponents, just like Bunpop did last round. Yeah, Nanosan is actually looking much stronger than I was originally expecting. I was thinking that he would have to call some tiles to hit Tenpai, but no, this is just getting there. He is Ishanten right now. Ooh, no, he's Ryanshanten now that he's done that, but he's choosing maybe to try to turn this into Painfu. Usually when I try this, and this is just a personal anecdote, usually when I try this, it doesn't work so well for me. I would usually benefit just from keeping the salves either as a pair or, you know, maybe hoping that eventually they can be a triplet. But we'll see how it works for Nano. Again, they are behind, so trying to get these points, I don't think it's a bad play. I just think it's one that, with my personal experience, I wouldn't be taking. And Gangirl's hand.
On call, they're not going to give anybody new Dora yet, but there we go. More advancement for Nano's hand.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this could very easily be Painfu now that he has since he has like the 3, 4, 5, 5. If he finds something else in there, or if he just draws like the 5, 8 pin, then he could drop the 6 and have Painfu that way.
Yep.
Okay, Gengirl in Tenpai, waiting strictly on the 2-pin. It's not a strong weight, but, you know, any Riichi is going to put a lot of pressure on her opponents. If she can just, like, get Nano out of the dealer shape, out of the dealer seat, I think she's happy. Because, again, her team is currently in the lead. Ooh. Ooh, okay, hang on. We have another Tonki weight. Oh, but Gengirl draws hers first. She gets the Tonki weight for the 2-pin.
It's a little 3-Han 40, you know.
Yeah, it's solid. It's
not gonna shake your head at that.
Like, it doesn't take much from her opponents. It doesn't really have to. It's perfectly fine.
Yep.
So let's take a look.
And we immediately, over in Nautico's hand, has 2 pairs of dragons.
Yes, that's 2 games in a row, I think. Or was it the game before last round that had 2 pairs? I don't remember which round it was.
2 pairs of dragons and no Chun showing anywhere on the table right now. Just smile and wave. Oh, there's the first one.
I'm fixing scores real quick, so that should be...
Yeah.
What is that? 12,200, that is...
Oh,
I'm
pawn call
blanking.
comes out for Bun Pup. Nadeko was thinking about coming in for the Chi, but I think it didn't
That
end
should
up
be right.
mattering.
Okay. Nanako almost certainly hoping to draw another red dragon. Not another, but just draw a red dragon at some point, though she doesn't really need that. It would be very nice. I guess that's really
Got
the
one
big
red
thing.
dragon down now, but you know, you're always looking out for it. Yeah, team colors and stuff like that would be really nice. Might be something to think about for the next stream, but so far this has been really fun. By the way, your stream has been really good, Corona.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, no, this tournament has been incredible to watch so far. Like, this has gone so much better than I could have imagined when I like threw out the idea for the tournament. Ooh, that's an interesting draw. I imagine probably dropping the Tumon here, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds right.
You got some good shapes in there, Gengirl. And also, well, hang on. Bump up, throwing away Tempai, but also it didn't have a Yaku, so.
Okay, yeah.
Makes sense. Trying
There's
again,
a second
I guess,
dragon,
to put
son.
pressure and go all triplets.
Yeah, because this is a team tournament. There's gonna be the deal in there.
Okay. It's not a huge hand, but it does win off wareme, so that is going to be extra points. That's going to be 5,800 for Nadeko.
And of course, we take a Hanba as well. Keep the South 2 going as we as we chug some soda. That emote gets me every time. What is happening in Bun Pup's hand? Okay.
Wait, what?
We got a triplet of East and a triplet of 7-So already in Bun Pup's hands. Now, East's not going to be a scoring triplet since that is not the seat wind or the round wind, but having 2 triplets right off the bat's pretty nice.
86,400. Absolutely. Sorry, I was distracted by focusing on the scores for a second.
No, you're good. Gengirl's hand also looking very nice. Hello.
I'm looking at Nadeko's hand. We could possibly see a Chitoy there. Gengirl with the ×2. We're seeing, you know, she's pretty close to Tempai. She has some kind of awkward groups.
Fantastic question, David. Teammates are allowed to communicate with each other as long as it is within a public channel that all 4 players are able to see, so no private communications.
Yes.
And they can't communicate about the contents of their hands or calls or weights or stuff like that, but they can communicate about broad strategy, like try to deal into me or don't try to deal into me or that kind of thing.
And Nanako is messaging me saying, this is mildly nonsense, but I'll explain after the game. Only saying it now because I don't want it to sound like I'll only be saying in the future because we lost if we lose. Nanako, trust me, you don't have to worry. I promise you, I think you are playing very well. You don't gotta worry about a thing. Not that you're even seeing this right now, but I believe in you. You're doing incredibly.
Local weather update.
Also, the
it's getting very dark outside.
Yeah, so at some point, Bonzi could be hopping off because of being forced from, you know, power outages, possibly.
Oh, are we Chitoy gaming?
We're Chitoy gaming for Nadeko, at least. Taking a look at some of these other hands. I'm seeing Bun Pup here again, going for some wild stuff here. We see the 2 Onkos of the 7-So in the East. Excuse me, and the East Wind. We could see if she draws... never mind. I was going to say if she draws a Tumon, it could be San Onko, but that's not possible. 2 of the Tumons are already in the discards, so that's not happening. Whew.
Yeah, we were talking about like coded language and shit as a joke, but that would definitely be breaking the rules.
Absolutely, that would be. Oh, and Nadeko is breaking up her Chitoy. I guess now it's just trying to go for all simples. This might have been what she was messaging me about, saying like, this is a bit nonsense, but like, I think this is still completely fine. Being able to call tiles instead of waiting on that last one for Chitoy, trying to get that last Chitoi tile is always miserable. And to open up the hand here, you have a much better chance of being able to call on a 3 or 6 pin to hit Tenpai that way, or to be able to call on the 4
and when
or
you're
the
sitting
5
on...
or the 8 pin.
That was exactly what I was gonna say. When you've got the 3 Akadora, opening the hand and just going for maximum being able to call ability is really good, because it's like you can call the chi, you can call the pawns, you can. It's very flexible in terms of tile acceptance from other players.
Extremely. And also, like, she is the dealer, and Gengirl has wareme. Like, that is pretty much the best situation for this. This makes a ton of sense for sure.
Thinking real hard about this.
That makes sense. Drawing the door, you always got to think a little bit. He was probably just planning to drop the 8 pin immediately. I think Nano especially would have liked to have had the 7 pin as a pair, but of course, having dropped the first one, now no longer really an option.
So let's see. We got 1 4-pin in Gengirl's hand. That's probably not coming down. 1 4-pin in Bun Pup's hand, so that's definitely not coming down.
I am
not going to call that chi because you already got the sequence.
Bun Pup again has another hand where, like, she doesn't really have a Yaku, because this is the South rounds now. East isn't going to do a thing for her. The only real Yaku that I can see that she can maybe eventually go for is all triplets, which, let me tell you, it's not going to happen. She is Tenpai here. It's no Yaku. She could still get Rinshan, but I think the open con on the 7-so may have been more to help out her teammate, Gengirl, because Gengirl has wareme. If Gengirl can get more Dora here, then that could be massive for their team. They don't really need the points right now because they are in first, but it is a close game, so trying to get those extra points and take that extra lead makes a ton of sense. Ooh, hang on, we see a Riichi here waiting on the 2 and 5 mon. The 2 mon, Bun Pup, maybe. I never know what Bun Pup's gonna discard, so like it wouldn't surprise me if those come out from her, or the 5 mon either. 5 mon from Nadeko is almost certainly not coming out. And Nano, I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether, I feel like Nano would just drop the South Wind first and then figure out the 5 after, if he ended up drawing it. Never mind, actually, all 4 5s are accounted for because we also have the 1 in Nadeko's discards. Ooh, do we see a Pwn?
Nope.
It makes sense.
Sorry, I looked down for 2 seconds and I looked back up and suddenly everybody's in Giga Tenpai.
Yeah, except for Nano. Which, you know, he would love to be in Tenpai with the pair of Dora 7 and 3 other Doras already called. But I think he's fine to just not deal in there. They lose a couple points here. They lose 1,000 effectively. But that's nothing major. Nadeko keeps the dealership. Gengirl even keeps the wareme. So again, this has a good chance of working out possibly for Nanosnack's benefit. Also, I'm seeing a possible 1-2-3 Sanshoku for Nadeko. I think the chance is kind of small because like you would typically like to keep the 2-3-4 as the group as it is already. But if she wants to call tiles, then she can. That is an option. Also, the 4-mon could just be a pair if she wants to do that.
Yeah, it's a bit of an awkward one to fish for, but...
Fixing scores real quick. So that's going to be 72. Okay.
Oh, not going to take the call on that one. So the Sanshoku, if it happens, is going to happen al natural. Already 3 1 Manzus accounted for, so not looking likely on that one, but...
No.
Not outside of the realm of possibility.
No, but like, I okay. The Sanshoku would be nice, but this hand doesn't need a Sanshoku at all. Like, this is a perfectly good one to just keep it closed for Riichi. I'm a little surprised to see the 1-so discard there. She's probably trying to fish for the Ipeko.
Oh, there's the 1-mon.
Okay. She could have actually had the 1-2-3 Sanshoku then. But it makes sense as well. Well, It doesn't make too much sense to me right this second why she dropped the 1-so there instead of like the 8-mon. Because keeping that 1-3-5 shape would have been very, very nice. But I'm going to take a look at some of these other hands. I'm seeing, hang on, Gengirl, possible half flush over here. I think not even just possible, I think that she is forcing it right now. So I'm expecting the 6 or 7 to drop. Probably
Yeah,
7.
certainly.
Yeah.
Yep. Good call.
So we're seeing a Honitsu over there, and again, she has the wareme, so there's the chance of the double value. This could pull their team well ahead if she ends up getting it. Bunpup let's see. I'm seeing a small Chanta possibility. Of course, there's the Green Dragon by itself if she wants the 2-Han hand between that and the Dora. And Nano, of course, in Tenpai right now with the Riichi on the 5-pin. See if they can get that. It's not going to be very valuable. Let's see. Well, hang on, because it is Tanya, it's Dora, Riichi. That's perfectly fine. Especially, again, if they can manage to hit it off Gengirl. Who, since she's going for a Honitsu, is going to be more likely to play in.
Oh.
Or they can just draw it.
Make that a 4-Han hand.
Yeah. No Ura, so it is just 4. But
yep. Poor man's Mangan.
Again, it takes extra points from Gengirl with the wareme. So that is going to be minus 6,400 for those two. So that is going to be 81,000 to 79,000.
Nano on that insane Honitsu life right now. Good lord.
Ooh, hell yeah. Okay. Incredible.
Yep.
He's loving it.
Send it. We got another South for Nanako as well, so if that gets dropped, it'd be really funny.
And I wanna try to make a call. I feel like Bunpup is probably gonna, especially now, she's gonna be trying for all triplets here. Maybe 7 pairs.
Yeah.
That felt like maybe it was a bit more of a reach whenever she didn't draw the 1-mon, but since she did, I'm just like, no, that's very obvious now.
And yeah, I wonder, I mean, you've got the 8s there, so it's not likely, but I wonder if she tries to go even harder and force in all terminals.
No. I don't think even she does.
That'd be insane, right?
It would be insane. Like, okay, if anyone were to do it, it would be Bunpup, but I don't think she does it here.
If an 8 of bamboo comes down, I'm popping the fuck off.
Ooh, also, I'm noticing, Nano, with dropping the 3-mon, the opponents, even if they read this as a Honitsu, they wouldn't really be able to easily guess that it's a Honitsu on Mon tiles. Ooh, that's going to deal into Bunpup, the all triplets.
It's a nice little toy.
It is a nice little toy.
It's a little toy among friends.
So it's going to be, what is that, 83,600, I think, if my math has been right. Is that right? That seems right. Let me just take a look real quick, because that is, first I should be, you know what, I wasn't looking at the dealer that round. There we go. I also didn't realize that this was all last already.
We've got 6 terminals from Bunpup.
We do. And the scores are very, very close right now. If my math has been right, actually, you know what? This is 76,400 for Nano Snack. My math is absolutely right there. And then 83,600 for the Apothecary. So they're only a couple thousand points off from each other. This is still anyone's game in all last.
Bunpup is throwing away weights and holding on to non-scoring honors, so
I wonder what he's going for. 5 away without a pair. It is possible.
It is technically possible.
Natako's messaging
looks
me.
like
I'm
the other
gonna
hands
have
are
to
going to be
ignore
too
for
fast
just a minute
either way,
because
even
I do
if
not
the
want
luck
spoilers.
is on her side.
Whether she passes or fails, I do not want the spoilers from Natako right this second, so I'll be looking at that in just a minute.
Okay, fair.
She's just messaging me is all.
All right.
So let's see, what else we got here? Nano, of course, with the white dragons. He's gonna want more than that. Actually, you know what? This could definitely become like a toy. that would be the way I think
Oh
to
yeah,
get the value to win here. Especially again, of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
if you can win off of either of your opponents. They don't even need to be the wareme player. They don't need to be Gengirl. Um, if you get the all triplets, but we'll see on that one. Winning off the teammate will do nothing for Nano and Nautico. Ooh, hang on. Gengirl just gets that like very, very quickly. That is actually game already.
Wow.
So the apothecary has just won 85,600 to 74,400. They're going to be going into the grand finals against Team Two Little Dragons. I'm not entirely sure when that's going to be yet. I'm going to let those two groups decide for themselves. Congratulations to the apothecary. Honestly, congratulations to Nanosnack for just getting this far. Y'all did incredibly today. Um, Everyone played a fantastic game. So today was we had incredible games all around for all of
Mm-hmm.
these. So thank y'all for playing.
Insane comebacks, incredible blowouts, incredible
And
blowbacks,
extremely close
incredible
games.
come outs. I'm pansexual.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
Oh, so many close games. Let me go ahead um and one more time share this screen. We of course had Nanosnack winning that game, and ooh, I forgot to save that. Hang on. Yeah,
What if they
Nanosnack
decided
winning
to do
that
grand
game.
finals just right now?
That would be very funny. I would not quite be prepared for it, but like if they needed to, I could be up for it, I guess. I'll let them decide, but uh the apothecary gets to move on to the grand finals up here against Two Little Dragons. So these are all our teams that we started with, and now we are just down to these last two. Whew.
So what is the plan for grand finals? Is it going to be incredible back shots? Exactly. Is it going to be like the same double elimination format? So like if you win, you get the bracket reset, or if the
um
losers win, they get the bracket reset.
if I have to be 100% honest, I'm trying to remember what I said were the changes for grand finals. If I remember right, it was a West round with bonus points going to Two Little Dragons for winning the winners finals. Um,
Okay.
I just want to scroll up real quick and check that just to make sure. Let's see. Grand finals will have largely the same rule set, except that it will be played over a West match with the team coming from the winner's bracket having a 12,000 point advantage. So yeah, exactly what I was
Okay.
just saying. Um, Congratulations to frankly everyone, but for
Yeah.
right now, especially the apothecary for making it into the finals again. Um, Thank you all so much for showing up, either for the players showing up to play and everyone on stream. Thank y'all. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this here, but God, what a fucking fantastic couple of days so far. I'm so excited for the finals. Yeah, and thank you for joining, Alice. Um, I'll see y'all soon. Take care.
Yep. Y'all have a good one.